All right. We are live. And as you see, it's me, your boy Tay International. We got Andre every other day. He has a YouTube channel as well. You can go ahead and check him out there. But today, just like the topic says of the video, I'm in Florianopolis. He's in Rio. I've spent a little bit of time in Rio. He spent some time in Florianopolis, and we kind of just want to go over the differences. Well, we're in Brazil, so Brazil's a good country to be in, especially as a digital nomad or doing whatever you do, a traveler. But there are differences in the different areas of Brazil. So, Andre, how's it going today?
It is going well. I
Nice.
just got done working. After this, I'm going to go to the gym, get a little exercise in, then head to the beach, do a
Nice.
little run,
Okay.
and just enjoy Brazil.
Yeah, man. That's definitely part of the culture out here is the beach, and I would say the boardwalks or you have a lot of places you can run. I'm looking at a place right now. I can look out and there's a boardwalk there where you can run for. I do probably like 4 mile run out there. I probably need to get one in tonight. But
Oh, I love the boardwalk in Florianopolis, man.
yeah.
It's a nice one, especially the one by Centro
Hmm.
because they have the little workout area.
Yeah, there's always workout areas. I think like every 500 meters or so seems to work out about where you can just stop, do your pull-ups, push-ups, all that. But yeah, man, there's a lot of similarities between the cities as well, but there are some differences. And I think the first one might be like climate and weather. You know, um, Here in Florianopolis, it's starting to cool off a little bit. So I would say at night it gets down to it varies, but like some nights have been like 60 degrees,
Oh,
65 ish.
I can't do that. That's too cold.
Oh, you
That's
too
crazy,
bougie
man.
for 65, bro. You too sensitive for 65 degrees?
Man, when I'm from Chicago, and
Yeah.
so I'm used to extremely cold weather, like -40, wind chill. But after I left the United States back in 2019, and I was in Barranquilla on the coast,
Yeah.
Barranquilla is hot,
Right.
and it's just like 85 degrees every day, 300. In the wintertime, it gets down to like 80 sometimes if it rains. So,
Yeah. Yeah, Barry Kid, you're gonna be sweating every day when you go outside. I
oh
noticed
man, it's
that.
horrible.
Mm.
It's rough. I like it though, but Rio's the same. Rio's pretty much hot year round, but it does get down to like 75 sometimes in the winter.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, man, it doesn't. If it's raining, it'll drop a little bit, but it doesn't really get much
Yeah.
lower than that in the wintertime in Rio.
Yeah, I would say I felt one day, at least on my watch, it said it was like, and this was like a few days ago, it said it was like 50, 56, and it was at night, but the day range was between 56 and 76. So during the day, this time of day, it was in the 70s. Nice, like nice. I wouldn't even say it feels like San Diego weather. So it's like during the day, it's cool or nice, and at night it might get cool. It might chill off. But like last night, I think it got as low as maybe like 68 or something like that. But
Yeah, I for my travels, the coldest places I've been since I left was, well, besides going back to the United States for the holidays,
mm,
was Ecuador.
okay,
Ecuador, because Quito was up in the mountains, so
yeah,
that actually got super cold temperatures, and then they don't use heating. No, I haven't been in an apartment with heating for a long time because it's like it never gets
dang,
that cold, but it is cold enough where there's a little bit of snow in
okay,
Ecuador, so you're getting like 40, 48, 50 degrees. Then at night, it's cold, the temperature always warms up, and I feel it's the same way in Floripa.
yeah. Well, it definitely. I looked at the chart, and it doesn't get down to. I think the coldest it's ever been on record here is 30 something degrees, 33, so just above freezing. And I think that happens like in July, August. But on average, the low temperature is 56 degrees. And then even during the winter, the average temperature during the day, the average high is around 76, and it's gotten as high as 90 degrees during the winter months. So it's a different type of uh weather here. Like the band is it just drops a little bit. It just cools off a little bit. I don't think it gets cold enough to kill off mosquitoes on the regular out
Yeah, it
here.
doesn't sound like it. To
Yeah.
me, it sounds like Florianopolis is almost. I would even say I like the weather better in Florianopolis than the weather in Medellin.
Okay.
Everybody always talks about the weather in Medellin is like the perfect weather, it's perfect springtime weather. But I thought Medellin was like a little chilly and humid and I loved it though.
Yeah.
But I like when it comes to weather, probably my favorite weather would have to be somewhere in between Florianopolis style, where it never gets like super crazy hot and it never
Right.
gets super crazy cold.
Exactly. Yeah.
Brazil, but the thing about Rio is the reason that people can be as free as they are. And I think one of the reasons people are, wearing like the small, tiny bikinis and the guys got the Speedos on is because it just gets so hot
Yeah.
that it's just too hot for clothes. And so like you don't get that vibe. Well, I guess you get it in Florianopolis, but it's
Yeah, they
not.
doing it out here.
Yeah,
They
they
be
do it.
doing that out here. I don't
It is
may
Brazil.
I mean they can't do it all day. They can't do it all day though, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is good because I ain't trying to see that all day if I'm at the beach. But except the women, they looking good. But it is I went out to the beach last week with a friend and went out there. We took some photos, videos, whatever. And it was maybe about 4 in the afternoon. And she was complaining of getting cold. I mean, I felt it a little bit, but she's from out here, and she was like, "Oh, I'm cold." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Let's get dressed and roll out."
Yeah, they don't
Um,
have that sensitivity, or they
yeah,
have a higher sensitivity to
for
like
sure.
slight temperature changes.
Yeah, I mean the water. She was taking pictures, and the water hit her in the back. One rogue wave hit her in the back one time, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's nothing, right?" Like, nah. For her, she was like, "Nah, that's a wrap. That's it."
Man,
I was like, "Dang."
so two times. One time you were there. I think you were in Rio for Carnival, right?
Yeah, but that was,
So
it was kind of like the half
the
carnival. It was like last year's.
so I remember that Carnival. I got hit by a wave. I flipped over and landed on my face, and I got an injury, and that ruined that whole carnival for me because I was
Damn.
like this blood injury in my face. Then when I was in Florianopolis, I was at probably the same beach you were at. It was like Mole or one of those other beaches.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing this thing where they like jump with the wave, and so I did it, but I did it wrong, and I
Right.
landed like straight, like bam, like right on my head, like somebody just saw it. And I'm just glad I didn't pass
I
out.
think I watched your video where you were talking about that. I was like, well, what is he talking about? Like, what happened there?
Yeah, you got to be careful with those waves, man.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a question here. Which city is more aesthetic between the two?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Aesthetic? I don't know. What do you mean by aesthetics? Buck
Well,
travel.
Tay, do you mind if I answer that question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I would say there's two very different aesthetics.
Yeah.
The aesthetic in Rio is very Art Deco when they're if he's talking about architecture aesthetic
Style. Yeah, maybe.
style, Rio's like Art Deco. Copacabana's like older, rundown, whereas
Mhm.
LeBlanc is like more modern and new. But all the
Right.
buildings are very beautiful. Flamengo is very beautiful. I would say has a small city vibe,
Mm.
and in terms of aesthetic and style, I think I would give it to Rio de Janeiro just because Florianopolis is just a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't get a chance to see a lot of the Centro. Just at night, I saw a couple buildings. But
Okay.
the aesthetic of Florianopolis is more, to me, seems like nature, beaches, and then like a lot of like mansions and small
Yeah.
houses.
It's definitely it has the central area is cool. Like they have the open market down there. Uh it's cool because they have the open market, but then right beside it they have um like a restaurant row kind of. So there's these restaurants, but they all serve you kind of outside, and it's like I don't know how to describe it. It almost feels like you're walking into a train station, like an old school train station, but it's kind of open. And then there's restaurants on the side, and you eat in the middle. That's kind of cool, and it's close to the historic center of the city. Um, Yeah, the central area is kind of strange when it comes outside of that because you're just walking around and then there's buildings and they don't kind of feel any kind of there's no kind of order. Although I will say you can always come to the edge of Central and then get a view of the bay or something like that. So it kind of orients you that way. And I believe it's your Central is kind of, bordered by the bay. And then as you come more towards Central, it's like this mountain hill, so to speak. At least that's the way it feels to me. Um, and it kind of builds up. And then as you leave Central and you go to like Lagoa, it kind of flattens out a little bit and then goes back up. But for the whole island in general, Central is probably only it feels like it's maybe 10% of the landmass of the whole island. So it's a very small part of Florianopolis. And I would say you can probably drive from, I don't know about the whole island, but as soon as you get over the bridge and you head north, you can probably be from that point, the middle of the island, to the north side in 25-30 minutes if traffic is good. So if you double that, maybe you can cover the whole island in 40-minute driving. But yeah, Central, you can be inside and out of Central in 10 minutes or less. So that gives you a perspective of the island of Florianopolis and the city center. But yeah.
Yeah, if I was coming at it I'm coming from a big city like New York and Chicago, and I want that big city aesthetic, I would go for either Sao Paulo or Rio. If I wanted a more like Hawaiian, San Diego, Hermosa Beach, Berkeley vibe, I would go to Florianopolis. One of my favorite things about Florianopolis is that big fitness bike path alongside Central. That's amazing to me. I love that.
Yeah.
Because in Rio they got it too, but you got to deal with people walking and tourists.
Yeah, it's definitely more. I feel like they had the same. The boardwalk in Florianopolis Central is like about the same width. It's big. It's a lot of room to do a lot of stuff, but it's a lot less people out there. There might be a few vendors out there every once in a while, but it's the same thing. They keep the lights on at night. There's volleyball. There's places where people play soccer. If you check out one of my shorts I did a short where there's some women out there doing a dance class and they're out there twerking, it looked like to me. But
well, twerking is a part of Brazilian culture, so everybody does
it. I mean, it definitely is a part of the culture because there was old people out there just sitting down watching. Like they were just sitting down watching the young people get freaky with it.
Bro, and kids twerk, oddly enough. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what they do. So
I ain't seen that yet. But also, another thing I noticed too, I was getting in an Uber, or else I should have stayed, but I saw a group of Afro-Brazilians out in Central one night, and they looked like they were forming up to do some type of cultural thing. And I would say it was at like 9 p.m. It was at night. It was right in the center of Florianopolis. I don't know if they were going to do some musical thing or if it was capoeira related or not, but it was
were they wearing all white?
Yeah, all white.
It could have been a religious thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
because there's like daughters of the sea or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I know they a lot of them had the continent of Africa on their shirts too. So, but yeah, I caught that last minute. I was like, dang, man, my Uber was already there, and I had to hit something else up. But yeah, somebody's asking a question about
cost of living.
Cost of living, yeah. So that's another subject I got on here as well that we can cover. Let me bring that up. But yeah, cost of living, that's obviously a huge thing. Yeah, what's your take on that? I mean, you've been to both places.
Cost of living is weird in Brazil because I made a video comparing cost of living in Brazil and Colombia.
Right.
And obviously Colombia wins by a landslide. But if I was going to say between Rio and Florianopolis, I think Florianopolis is cheaper, but the range in Rio is probably bigger because there's probably more low income people here and it's just a bigger place.
Right.
But in Rio, you can you can spend $1,000 a night on a hotel. You know,
Right.
I'm actually, you probably could do that in Florianopolis too, because there's
I,
clubs in Florianopolis, and like a whole section is like super nice mansions and everything like that too.
right. I think you could, right? But at the same time, I think you'd be stretching it because it ain't but
Mm,
so many places here
yeah, you're
on
right.
Florianopolis, you know. Um, I would say it seems like if you want to stay at probably the best hotels on the island, I think your range is going to be $200 to $300. I think that's it. I don't think at least this time of year since I've been here. Now I think the high season it may be different, and I
Yeah,
think
that's right.
I got here right as high season was ending, right after the carnival is when I got here. But when I looked it up, that's part of the reason why I came here too. Because when I looked it up, hotel prices was decent. I was seeing stuff for $50 a night. So
Yeah,
um, it's I would say if if you look around, you probably get something very decent for $80 a night out here, and you're in a good area. Um, but you know how Florianopolis is, right? The hotels are more in central, and then maybe Jittery up to the north. But besides that, you got to deal with Airbnbs. If you're anywhere really close to the beaches, you're dealing with Airbnbs or hostels, which is, they're reasonably priced as well. So that's another thing.
yeah. Selena was not reasonably priced when well, I guess it was, but it's for a hostel to charge like over $100 a day. I was like,
Yeah,
that's not really a
that's a
hostel.
grip. That's a
So
grip for a hostel.
I stayed there for one night and I spent $100.
Well,
I
that
was
was a
like,
private room, right?
yeah, it was a private room.
Okay.
I've never done the shared room thing.
Yeah.
I missed that boat.
I've done the shared room before when I was in Guadalajara, Mexico, and it was I did it because I wanted to explore the city and have a place to just like come back and relax. But I had a
Mhm.
hotel at the same time
Oh, okay.
on the other side, like in Zapopan. But my
So you
hostel
leave
was
all your stuff
downtown,
there.
right?
That
So I
is a
could just,
move right there. That's a smart move.
yeah, and I did that once, and there was nobody in my room. It was a room of four. There was nobody there, and then I went, came back, and then somebody was sleeping in the bed beside me. It was a co-ed room. I ain't even know they did co-ed, and then turned out it was a cool chick from Poland that was like the Mexico expert. She's
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So that was a good move right there.
Yeah. So I think if we're gonna talk long term, I I guess the best way I would compare it is just Rio de Janeiro has a bigger range,
Yeah,
so you can spend less. But if you for for the lower range on Florianopolis, you can still get some really nice apartments. I think you can get better apartments in Florianopolis
I
for the
agree.
same price than you can get in Rio. Because in Rio, if you want an apartment not like above a brothel, not staring at a wall, that
Mhm.
the biggest problem for me in Rio is like all the apartments you're staring at a wall.
Right.
Um, and if you don't want to stare at the wall and you want to be anywhere even like remotely close to the beach,
Yeah.
it's just gonna shoot up in price.
Gotcha.
Not that much. Like for you can probably one of the dopest apartments you can get is gonna be like $2,000 a month if you're renting. You can do, but then you're talking like 5 bedrooms.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can get a
Yeah.
good two to three bedroom in Florianopolis for like 400 to $600 a month. Like really nice. Like looks
Yeah.
like it'd be an Airbnb.
Right.
Um,
And then not to mention that the fact that you can go off the island or on continent, as they like to say, you, you can go on the continent and get be like maybe just across the other side of the bridge, and you can be maybe 10-15 minutes away, and then everything just drops off. The prices just go down even more. They go down like a step, maybe even comparable to parts of Colombia, the places that we're used to. So, um, you know, it's I, I I haven't looked up the rent, but from what I'm seeing, I'm thinking you can get, because when I looked it up online, some of the hotels out there, and they getting, they rating them properly. They like, hey, this is a good hotel and all that. Some of these hotels that are rated properly on Expedia even are like $30 a night, you know? Um Like I
Yeah,
said,
it's a seasonal thing, man. It's that
right,
if it's seasonal or if it's away from the beach. But
right,
I would rather, if I was going to do an apartment long term and I didn't want to spend like $1,000, if I wanted to spend $1,000, I would stay in Rio right by the beach because then you can get
yeah,
a really, really nice apartment overlooking the water. Otherwise, I would rather stay in someplace like Florianopolis because I think you're going to get better quality food. I I think the cost of living, I'm just going to say, is better in Florianopolis for what you get, the quality of food, the
yeah,
safety, but the lack of the culture and the lack of like
yeah.
that's a
So
trade-off.
yeah, so that brings us to another point. So let's go down the list right quick. We already built a list, y'all. So I just want to pop it up, especially for the replay effect. But yeah, like this, let's talk about the people. The I guess that bleeds into the culture to a degree as well. Um, Obviously, Florianopolis is southern Brazil, and when you talk about countries that border the equator and you go south of the equator, you're getting colder normally temperature. We talked about that, but also it's more of a place where European immigrants like to be because it's less hot, and it's more familiar to what they used to, but not to the extremes of like Europe. So for that reason, you have a lot of European immigrants that have come here from a long time ago. They're Brazilian now, but ancestors are from Germany and Italy. Some Japanese I've seen here in Florianopolis, not a lot, but mainly German, Italian, and maybe even some Eastern European. I've seen some Russians out here too, but they're fairly, they're new Russians or Eastern Europeans. They're speaking the Russian language, so I'm assuming they're Russian. But yeah, that's why I noticed the culture of the people, the origins of the people out here versus I think Rio. It's a more of a melting pot in Rio. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it is once again. It's kind of like Southern California, or not Southern, like Hermosa Beach, where
Right.
it's mostly, I'm just gonna say it, Caucasian, and I think that's true for Florianopolis. Whereas in the north, the further north you go in Brazil, it's just more African and what's popping, Clint, Andre. Uh,
Right.
the further north you go, it's more diverse, I would say, and the further south you go, it's less diverse, more European.
Hmm.
And the only negative thing I think about that is that the music and the culture is just not, it's not the warmth that you get up in north.
And
Uh,
the
and
food
the
is
food,
different.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a different. Yeah, you're right about that. The warmth, is not it's different. And I wouldn't say, people have asked me about this before, like how the people down there. I'm like, oh, it's neutral, bro. Like it's, if you people don't, how can I say it? They're not rude and they're not overly open and they're like, oh, my brother. Like, no, they're not like that is going on either. But I would say if you're a self-content person, you'll do fine here. If you're digital nomading, you're doing your own thing. Um, you can go out and meet people when you want to. You don't always have to be kind of like smothered in this. What I mean, like some places are like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, you definitely have to be more intentional when you want to meet people in a place like this. Although you do have people who come from northern Brazil who come down here, you know, black people, black Brazilians or mixed Brazilians, whatever. A lot of times they'll be easier to talk to. It depends. Some of them they might be the worst ones to talk to because they out here trying to do their thing. They trying to blend in. So they doing their thing. But in general, I've seen that a lot of them, you see a brother walking down the street, you give him the head nod. He give you know what I mean? He give you the head nod, just like you back in the States or wherever, and a place is not that many of us, and you see another brother, like you get a head nod and you'll get that back. But I think it's only 5% that identify as African descent here in Florianopolis
Oh, it's very
versus
small.
Yeah, so versus like other parts of Brazil, it's like probably 50% or higher in Rio. I don't know, um, but yeah, that's part of the culture here too. Like and that bleeds into the food culture as well. Um, they don't have typical Brazilian food down here. Like you don't even have the Brazilian steakhouses. Here you just have places that serve steak and it's good steak. Restaurants are good, but it's nothing authentically Brazilian here that I've seen so far. And the other travelers have said the same thing. I don't know what your opinion is on that.
Well, I will say um, the food and the people in the South is just more European.
Right.
I got a lot of Hawaii vibes, a lot of sushi. Um,
Okay.
I didn't really think I never had any bad experiences with the people,
Right.
but I do think there's a lot of options for food. There's a lot of good restaurants because it Florianopolis is I would say a generally wealthy place. Like people have money
Right.
down there. Um, I think Rio is so expensive because it's touristy, but because it's touristy, you get kind of that wider variety of food choice. And I think
Gotcha.
that food in the restaurants is just a size thing. Um, I would actually probably say I prefer to eat in Florianopolis because I feel like the food would be healthier. Maybe I don't
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
but um, and somebody asked about family, and I wanted to piggyback on what you said.
Mm.
You were saying, you can mind your own business. I think Florianopolis is the ultimate place to go. That if you go down there as a digital nomad, or if you got a family, or you're by yourself, you can get an Airbnb, live your life. Nobody's gonna mess with you. Nobody's gonna try to
Right.
rob you or anything like that. Nobody's
Right.
gonna ask you
Right.
for money. I think I saw like for the 11 days out there, I saw one person who might have been asking for money, but nobody ever asked me for money. Whereas in Rio, it's just a part of life
Right. Right.
there. So, there's people standing in front of every ATM. Actually,
Right.
there's a whole family in front of it. Speaking of family vibes, there's a whole family in front of an ATM in Rio. And like, that's just wild. You see the baby, you see the kids, they're all
Damn.
just out there in the street. Like Rio is,
Yeah.
is wild for that.
Yeah. I mean, I do remember a little bit of that, but yeah, you're right. Like it is there way more. And it's funny you mentioned that. Like the first time I saw somebody, well, the first time I actually noticed somebody asking for something was yesterday, and I was at a coffee shop, and dude came in, looking like he was on the street. He came in, but he came in real polite though. Like he dropped his little bag off at the front, and then he came in and he asked, like, he didn't raise his voice or nothing. He was just like real like, oh, you got anything? And asked the people at the counter, then asked me, and then asked another lady on his way out, and then left. Nobody gave him anything, but um it was like he was like, all right, I'm gonna be in here for 5 seconds, make my moves, and I'm out. Like, so it was and that was actually outside of Florianopolis. Actually wasn't even on the island at the time. So um, just across the bridge. But it is still interesting. And I'll say that too. As soon as you go across the bridge, you will see more
You
of
see
the
more of that.
typical, right. As soon as you go across, but it's still nothing near the level of Rio.
Rio's
It's
wild.
still, uh, you know, even even if you're in the areas where stuff may go down, like it'll be obvious signs, like it'll be dark, right? it'll be you'll see you'll see a place that's not upkept well, like bushes or whatever, right? Easily avoidable, not like you have to go those areas, like you have another option more than likely. But and I had a friend, I think yesterday or day before, she actually rode her bike from the other side and then rode across. I don't know. I think she was biking for like 2 hours. So she was on
Wow.
the other side for most of it, and then came across. And she's not a biker. She bought a bike at a store, and that's the only way she could get it. She could get it back. I got to ask her about that whole adventure, but yeah, she did it, and she just she's actually in one of my videos. You see the drone video where it's her laying on a rock. She did that on her own, and she didn't have any real problems. So, but yes, that does go back into like the crime aspect of things as well. That is another subject. We're talking about food and culture. Well, let's wrap that one up right quick because restaurants. Um, yeah, the restaurants in Rio, they do have some really good restaurants. I'm assuming. Well, I mean,
Well, and
yeah.
also I was going to say that the restaurants are also have a club vibe sometimes. So it'll
Okay.
be a restaurant, and then they'll have a live pagoje band or samba band,
Mm,
and then everybody just starts dancing,
right.
and people get real friendly, and it's a good. I think it's a good place to meet people. If you see some woman you're interested in talking to, actually, a lot of women have come up to me at restaurants,
Right. Right.
where it's pagoji going on. There, maybe there's some beer.
Okay.
I didn't see that when I was there. Is there that sort of vibe? Actually, did anybody come up? Did any women ever come up and talk to you since you've been in Florianopolis?
Hold on a second. Let me open up this window. But
Okay.
yes, yes, there has been. I would say it's when I go out to the few times I went out to a club maybe last weekend, and I was out with some buddies, and we were there, and it was like a grown and sexy type of club. But yeah, how can I say this? Like she made it known that she wanted to talk to me.
Mm.
So I wouldn't say she just came up to me, especially at this type of place. I don't think like they go hard like that, and you can tell like they're all trying to be reserved at this place. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a upper end place. But she did make it known she wanted to talk to me, so we talked, and we were talking in English, and that's how it was there. A few other places, I would say they're less likely to come up to you on a regular, like at a regular restaurant for sure. They're definitely. I don't think they're coming up to you like that. What's
Yo.
up, the Travelmatic? Yeah, yeah, man. We in here. But yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. Maybe and I haven't been going out a lot either at night. I need to do more of that, and we'll see. I can report back and tell you how that goes. But yeah, I think and now is not the high time of year either, because people tell me during the actual summer here, there's a lot of tourists, a lot of women come from Argentina, Uruguay, other parts of Brazil, and they're coming here strictly for vacation vibes, vacation experiences, and you know what that means. So they're getting out there, they having a good time. So um Florianopolis is the place for that. I'd like to come back during that high season,
Yeah, that would be a good move.
yeah, and see what it feels like. But yeah, it was one of my Uber drivers, man. He laid it down for me. He's like, bruh. And he had been a lot of places. I think he lived in Miami. He lived in Salvador. He's from Rio. And he was like, yeah, he's like, you come back during that time, it's a wrap. I was like, okay. I was like, okay, that's what we doing. That's what we doing.
Yeah, I was thinking about just doing that, getting a lease and staying down there for the whole year,
Yeah,
and just seeing how it is. Because like one of the things I do when I travel is I tend to go to a place for like a year or so, or a
yeah.
couple months, just because you now that you've been there for how long you been there?
Uh, Coming up on 2 months now.
Yeah, so when you stay there longer, you can you get acclimated with all that stuff. So,
Yeah,
because one of the things I'll say about Rio is definitely a tourist area too. So, if, for example, I remember when I first came down here and I was on Tinder,
mm.
pretty much every single girl I matched with was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Let's meet up." We didn't end up meeting up because she probably got drunk and just did some other shit. But it's like Rio is so like it's the here and now. If you meet somebody at the beach,
Right,
you gotta whatever's gonna happen has to happen right then and there. There's no like, hey, I'm gonna call you later because
right.
they might just walk down the street and meet somebody else at the beach, because
Yeah,
the women there are like straight up on vacation party mode. So in
yeah.
Rio,
It's See, I think my Tinder been broke. My
Oh,
my
really?
my Tinder does not work, bro. Every time I pull up Tinder, I almost pull it up just to see what type of madness I'm gonna see on there, right? Because or what kind of madness I'm gonna get. So obviously, if you're in Colombia, it's hit or miss. It can be a little dangerous. But
Yeah,
I did
life
open it up.
threatening.
Yeah, I opened it up when I was in Medellin. I opened it up just to see what was going on, and the messages were coming in, and I was just like, nah.
Oh no,
They,
yeah.
they right away they asking like, what you doing here? How long you gonna be? Like, turn it off. I'll just turn the whole thing off, right? And then
Well,
when I came,
oh, go ahead.
yeah. So when I came out here, I, like I try to, try to get going. I see some nice looking women on there. I try to get going, and then I get messages from transvestites. Like I don't want none of that. Like please. And then you get tired sometimes, so maybe you swiped on them. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh no, like you look at them, you're like, nope, 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 nope. Delete that.
Yeah,
So
some DL stuff down
yeah,
low. What I felt about Tinder in Florianopolis was it. I didn't have really any luck with it.
right.
I think it's just better to meet people through other people.
Yep.
But I'm sure given time, something's gonna pop up. But when I was
Yeah.
in Medellin, the thing I discovered in Medellin was the girls I liked the most in Medellin were the girls who lived outside of Medellin in the suburbs.
Yeah.
And most of those girls weren't pros
Right.
and they weren't down for hooking up. They're like, I want a long-term relationship. How long are you going to be here? Are you just like, so I think if I was in Medellin, probably what I would end up doing is I probably end up getting a girlfriend from one of the cities outside of the central area, or just go to
Yeah.
Cali or like Cartagena. There's a lot of, although Cartagena's tough too, because there's so many
Yeah. It's a
pros, man.
lot of
It's tough.
dudes been blowing it up in Cartagena. So
Yeah, they're not even pros. They're just expecting things now. They're like, oh,
exactly.
you're a tourist, so you're gonna be like this, this, and this. So
But you're right about Medellin though. It's like just outside of the city, you know, you can get it feels like it's a totally different world. We went to this one place called Estrella, La Estrella, and it had its own little center, own little town. It's only maybe a 20-minute ride from Poblado area. And they have had a totally different feel. I was like, dang, bro. I was like, I could hang out here. And like they have their own little bars and everybody kind of, it's just a better feeling place. But yeah, I guess that goes into the nightlife subject. We talking about it here. It's I don't know. I feel like nightlife here at Florianopolis is very, how can I say it? It's a few places. It's not extensive. It's a few places. There's maybe some less known places, like you got to know somebody to go there. I actually got invited to this one WhatsApp group of these house DJs. They go different places, do DJ sets, and then you have to have the link to get the invite to that party. And they hop around the island. They go to different places, but it seems like a good vibe. But I didn't actually go to one yet. But that's one option you have here. Then you have a few nightclubs uh, that I've seen. The ones I've seen are like along Lagoa. Did you go to those?
I actually didn't go to any nightclubs.
Okay,
We
yeah,
went to some. I was with some friends. We went to some like outdoor restaurant areas. Like the layback where it's outdoors and you can eat and drink and they play music. But I didn't actually go to any nightclubs when I was there.
yeah,
But I feel like you don't go to Florianopolis for the light nightclubs. I
yeah.
feel like
You don't. But I
the
mean, it's
beach and the
you
day
want
and stuff.
right. Yeah, you want to know what's up. Oh, that's the thing about that DJ group I was talking about. They actually start their parties during the day.
Nice.
So it start during the day and then kind of evolve, I guess, through the night. But yeah, it's yeah, you're right. You don't come to Florianopolis for the nightlife, but I haven't even been to it yet. I know where it's at, but up in Jure International, the beach up north, they have this club called P12, and supposedly during the high season, it's like the best club in Brazil. That's what
Is
they
that the one
say.
that's like $200 to get in?
Probably.
Man, I'd be down for going to that.
But I think this time of year it probably wouldn't even be nowhere near that price because it'd probably be a lot less people.
Yeah.
But that whole area there, that's it's right by the same area where those mansions you're talking about. You walk down that one street, you go all the way to the end, and it looks like it used to be a field, and now they got that going on, and they got that area is coming up though. They are building out there still. I feel like that area, and then Campeche on the lower side of the island is the two areas that, if you wanted to buy some real estate, might be the places to look at. Obviously, the one is way more developed, and Campeche is on the up and coming right now. So,
oh, and Travelmatic posted a comment, and I just want to say I agree. It's fucking.
oh, let me
it's out of,
see.
excuse my language. It's out of control.
Yeah,
It's out of control, man.
yeah.
Well, I guess the United States is out of control too. If you think about it.
I feel like all of that is definitely being pushed a little bit too more than. I mean, it's nothing wrong with what people want to do, but then when you imposing it on other people, that's where you're kind of crossing the line.
I'll just say percentage wise, it's disproportionately portrayed in the media.
Right.
That's I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. For the amount of people. Yep. Yeah, let's move on. What we got here? Let's see.
This is a good one. Sex tourism traps.
Let me see. Okay. So I will say here in Florianopolis, you don't even have a lot of that. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. You're in Brazil. It's illegal. Sex work is legal in Brazil. I don't know what the stipulations are, what the parameters are for it, but in Florianopolis, it's not a lot of it here that I've seen. You definitely don't see it on the street anywhere. I haven't seen it.
You don't go to Florianopolis for the sex tourism.
Yeah. So it's not there. It's not that, but obviously, I'm sure if you wanted to find it, you could find it. As far as the trafficking of it, I really couldn't tell you.
I would say, just from my experience in Florianopolis, you're not gonna get so much that, but you will find sugar babies, or high class women who just want a man to take care of them, because there's so many like uber rich Lamborghini owning people.
Yep.
And then when it comes to Rio, like the whole city is a sex trap. I don't know. Everybody, my opinion about Rio is like everybody has like a lot of sex. And it's just, coming from Colombia and being in Colombia and Ecuador and then going to Rio, I made some videos about it, but it's just the difference is intense in the amounts of sexuality. So if you want to avoid sex traps, one, learn to speak Portuguese.
Right.
Learn to speak Spanish. That'll help you learn to speak Portuguese. Two, Copacabana, Lapa, just don't go any of the strip clubs and you're fine. There's not really an issue with like pros coming up to you. I've never had I was in Copacabana once, and this woman, she must have been like 60 or 70 years old, came up to me and she was talking to me, and I was like, oh, this nice lady. And I walked with her, and I was like, I'm walking to the store, and she's like, oh, I'll walk with you, because she heard me speaking English.
Right.
And then at the end, she walked me for like 5 minutes. She gave me her card, and she was like, if you ever want, a massage or I was like,
damn.
I was like, oh, I thought you were like Betty White.
Hey, she hit you with the proposition.
But that's Copacabana, man. Copacabana has like those beach restaurants where it's just wild. It's Copacabana. This is Brazil, Rio. So I think it's easy to avoid. Just go to the beach and hang out. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was there, I mean, obviously you see it. It did catch me by surprise one time because I was talking with some girls, and I thought I was just talking with these young ladies or whatever, and they didn't come off with that vibe right away. And the whole time I talked to them, it was nothing like that. And then the next day or two, I think the next day, because we traded Instagram. Then she propositioned me the next day on Instagram. I'm like, oh
snap.
Yeah, like I
had that happen to me with Tinder. So
yeah,
met her, she started talking to me, then she hit me with hey, I'm trying to do business.
Yeah, but this is one that I met. We were talking face to face, you know. Um, but yeah, I guess that's how it is out there. That was in Rio, but haven't had anything like that in Florianopolis. What
Yeah,
other?
I think it's very different than Colombia
Yeah,
as well. The way it goes down in Colombia.
yeah. Colombia is definitely its own thing when it comes to that. Let me see what else did I. Oh yeah, this one right here is a big one. Safety
Mm.
and crime. Yeah, we didn't cover this. Um, so yeah, here in Florianopolis, very minimum. Very actually, the first day I was here, maybe the second day, I went out, had my camera out along the boardwalk in Central, and the sun was setting. I was like, oh, let me get some pictures out here. Then there was these two girls sitting down there. I was like, oh, that actually looks like a nice picture. Like maybe I should ask them if I could take their picture, right? So I started talking to them. They were two police officers, two off-duty police officers. Yeah, these two young ladies, and then we talked for a little bit, blah blah. You know, one is married, the other boyfriend actually drove by in a police car while we was there. But they broke it down for me like how safe the island is and how the in general the whole state of Santa Catarina is safe. And she was saying that the the city they have the most crime in is Joinville. It's like the north of this state. Um, Joinville, but she said that's where they have the most problems. I guess I don't know why that is, but she said yeah, in Florianopolis, she's like yes. I was like, so I ain't gonna have no problems, you know, with my camera and stuff. She's like, oh nah, like even still, even though she's telling me that and she's a police officer, I'm still like, you know, I'm still gonna be on my p's and q's to a degree. I'm not gonna make it that easy. Why would I, right? But
I didn't even see anybody who could give me any problems actually when I was there. Like
see that,
anybody could bring it. You never know what somebody
yeah,
like if they got
you never
skills or
know.
whatever. But
Yeah,
my spider senses did not go off once. Mostly I was on streets like by myself because and then
right,
everybody looked like they were on vacation.
right.
Nobody was like talking to themselves or looking at me.
Mm,
I went into this cafe. Everybody had their MacBooks out.
yeah, yeah.
People putting their phones down on the table. And me coming from Rio, I'm just like, yo, no. Like,
Yeah,
look,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't.
You coming from Rio, you got your spidey senses are tight. You know what I mean? Like you're hearing the language at least a little bit. You can tell like it's funny how you can not even speak a language, but just hear how people are forming their words and tell like if they're what level they are. You know,
Mm.
it's a almost like how clear they're enunciating or how direct they are with what they're saying versus other people who might be, you know, I think it's typical around the world. It doesn't matter what country you're in or what language, you can just kind of hear that. But yeah, on Florianopolis, you don't even see a lot of that. You don't hear a lot of that at all. Um, there are a few places in Central that might be a little sketchy. You know, you might get the whiff of urine in a few places. And normally to me that's a sign like okay, I don't want to be hanging around here at night.
Bro, it's like all of Rio.
Yeah, so like it's Florianopolis. There's only a few places where you go where you pick up on that. You know.
Yeah, I was in Lagoa and like that never happened. I never.
Yeah, yeah. Lagoa
Lagoa is
is
just super nice. Yeah.
yeah. It's I feel like there's not even a place for homeless people to hang out too long in Lagoa.
Actually, there is right by where I stayed. There's a park, and people will
Mm.
sleep there and hang out there. But I get the feeling that they're
I
just
know the
like,
park you're talking about. Yeah,
yeah, they're
yeah,
just old residents who used to live,
right.
probably used to live there and just did too many drugs and never got a job. So,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I would say easily Florianopolis wins hands down. And I would also add to this: the more Brazilians I talk to, they're like, Brazil is not like Rio is just dangerous. Rio
right,
is a dangerous place. There's a lot of places in Brazil that are not like Rio de Janeiro.
right.
Like anytime you get away from the beach and the big cities and you get out into the country, it's super, super chill for a lot of those
Yeah.
places.
Hmm. Yeah, Rio is like that's kind of what I'm supposed to be going to Sao Paulo at some point. I want to go there, But I don't know. Like once you come to a place like Florianopolis and you don't have to worry about as much, you can go out and do things and have your phone out, have your camera out, doing things, and go to a cafe, pull out your MacBook, do some work. It's like, what? Where am I going? Why am I going there? Why would
That's
I
why I
leave
called it
here?
a digital nomad paradise in my
Yeah,
video. I was
man.
just like, you could do any sort of like, I'm a digital nomad and I just want to bring out my, GoPro
Right,
and have my Apple Watch with my
right.
iPhone and my laptop. And
Yeah,
yeah, I got the same one, bro. I picked it
you
up. I picked
know.
it up when I went to over the winter.
So on that, because you're in Rio right now. So how was that walking around Rio with the Apple Watch?
So I don't think people know what this is yet. They haven't caught on. So they don't really know what this is. And I don't think Apple Watches are really have
That
a high
sought after.
resale value because
Right,
there's so many
right.
fake ones. Like they make
Yeah.
fake ones of these you get for like $50.
Yeah, I know
So
Ace had one. Ace.
yeah, so he said the haters gonna say it's fake.
Yeah. Well, I think he's getting a real one soon, so I don't know. He's switching it up on him. He trying to confuse people. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think Apple Watch is not. It's the phones that the real
Right.
money's at. Although the real scavengers, the real coyotes will just take anything they can grab off of you. And
Exactly.
if they pull up on you in a scooter and a gun, they're gonna ask for it. So
Right. They're gonna ask for your phone and blam, it is a thing though. Like I see a lot of iPhones out here. Like it's almost everybody, even my one friend that I communicate with pretty often, she doesn't have an iPhone. And I'm like, why don't you have an iPhone? She's like, oh, I had one, but I kept losing it. She said she kept losing it. So she was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just she ain't say she got robbed for it or it got stolen. She just kept losing it. So that's her reason for not having one. She just wanted something cheap. So if she lost it, she can get another one real fast. But yeah, it it does feel it feels constraining when you're in a place and you got to worry about all those things. I think it's but you said digital nomad paradise like Florianopolis. It's funny because I was talking with another American a few days ago, 3 days ago, and he had lived in Medellin for I think a couple years. White American, and he said, yeah, he's like, it just got to be a little too much stuff going on, and he came down here. And I think he's been here for over a year, and I think he even has a place down here, bought an apartment or whatever. And it's I don't know. You're right. You're right on that. It's a digital nomad paradise, especially like the internet is decent enough. I know Brazil gets a bad rap for internet speed, but here it's decent enough. I mean, I'm doing this feed right now. We don't have any
I
problems.
had great speed when I was down there.
Yeah, you're doing a feed right now from Rio too. You're not having any problems. Um, and I'm off the hotel Wi-Fi, so that's
Damn, you're on hotel Wi-Fi?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, what else would it be?
I don't know. I thought you were in an Airbnb. I didn't know you.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
it's a
realize you were in a
hotel
hotel.
Wi-Fi, and it's pretty good. I think I saw at one place I was at. I think I saw 80 meg download, and it was that's pretty impressive. I think when you see anything above 40, I think is really good. Um, I've pushed up some of my videos you've seen. I pushed them up and they're in 4K. I think one of them I pushed up the long 30-minute GoPro one. I think that was like 20 something gig or something like that. And it pushed up relatively quickly. But that's why I hate filming with GoPro. No matter what I do, the files are always huge on GoPro. I'll film with this camera right here, the Sony, which is much better. And the files, it has a certain file type that will compress. I do a 10-minute video and it'll be like 3 gigs, and it'll be
I've just
top
started shooting
quality.
with GoPro. So
Huh?
I got the GoPro Action 2, which is just like a cube. It's like a little
Oh, you're
cube.
talking about the DJI Action 2.
Yeah, DJI. Sorry, not GoPro.
Yeah.
But it's basically like a GoPro. But
Yep.
I like that. So
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one though. It's that the DJI Action, the GoPros, they're very similar. I think Travelmatic, he has a action as well. I don't know if he films with that or his it's got something else. I think the other DJI camera, the Osmo Pocket. A lot of guys
What
been rocking that.
do you have a topic on the list about where would you live long term? Is that one of your
Nah,
topics?
that's not one of them, but we can make it. We can make
So
it.
you've been to Rio for a short amount of time. You've been in Florianopolis for a little bit.
Yeah.
Between Rio, Florianopolis, actually between all the cities that you travel to, I know you've been to a lot of different cities. Where does Florianopolis rank?
Uh, it ranks up there, dude. It's I think it. I don't know if it could be number one. People, people always want to be like your favorite place, right? But it's definitely in the top three right now. I would say. Um, the only thing that I would say, worldwide, even right, that would maybe not have it a solid number one is just it's not cheap enough. It's not all around cheap enough.
Mm.
But it's cheap. Don't get me wrong. Like for what you get being next to these beaches, doing all of that, it's cheap. But when it comes to like buying food, eating out at restaurants, um, Ubers, it's just you know, Colombia will crush it when it comes to
Yeah.
food and Ubers and all that stuff. But I guess overall, when you combine it, it might be the number one or two or three, depending on what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think if I was gonna do long term, the bad thing about doing long term in Rio is it's such a party area
Mm.
that you could definitely do long term in Rio, but I don't know. Yeah, I think I would rather do long term Rio just because I think I would have more. You would have more fun. I think
Right, right,
if you like nature, if you like going outside, you can do that in Rio.
right.
It's cheaper to be by the beach in Florianopolis, I think, than in Rio.
Yeah,
Um, if I was worried about like safety, Florianopolis. If I had kids, I
yeah,
definitely would do Florianopolis.
yep.
Or any of the other like smaller cities too. I think Rio is good. Like Rio is really good if you want to like listen to good music, have fun, like meet women,
The tip,
party.
the typical bachelor life. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep going on that before I hit those other comments. But yeah, I would agree with you there. Rio is definitely better for the active bachelor. You out there trying to get it in. Um, but you know, I'm still a bachelor, and I like meeting ladies and all that as well. But at the same time, I feel like right now I need to focus a little bit on creating content, doing stuff like this, and coming up with strategies and stuff. And even before I came here, I was like, I don't even care what the nightlife looked like. Before I came here, I was like, I don't care what the nightlife looks like. I want to go there, be outside, enjoy the weather, go to some beaches, and then be able to come back to my spot and do some work. And that's what this has been good for me for. So,
And that's why it's a digital nomad paradise because
right,
you can just do your own. You're not gonna be walking down the street and get tempted into some like crazy party or a
right,
huge
right,
carnival thing. In general, I would say it's much more boring. It's much more about surfing or
right,
hiking, which are all conducive to health, not a lot of late night drinking. So if you want to
right.
get work done, that's the reason I moved to Niterói, right outside of Rio. I moved to the
Okay,
suburbs is so that I can actually get some work done. Because when I was in Rio, I was like going out like a lot, and I managed nightclubs in Chicago, so it's kind of in my blood. But
right,
but if you want to get work done, I think Florian, you can still meet women and do all that other stuff and
hmm
have a good time. But I think Florianopolis would be the best place to go if you want to get work done in terms
yeah,
in comparison to Rio. So
and
for if I go ahead.
focusing on health too. Like getting outside, doing whether it's working out at the gym or working out outside, hikes, swimming, all that stuff. I feel like you can definitely do more of that here in Florianopolis. But yeah.
Yeah, and I want to answer that question. Niterói there's a bridge close to Central and Rio. You cross over that bridge and you get to Niterói, so it's about 30 minutes away from downtown. I got an apartment here, pretty nice. But yeah, it's a Niterói.
Niterói, yeah. I remember that's close to the airport, right?
Yes.
That direction? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. It's yeah, that's one thing too. The airport here is like I came into the airport, I walked outside, I was like, yo, hold up.
Nicest airport I've been in a long time.
I was like, I'm gonna chill out here. They got like little swings and stuff you can hang on. I'm like, yo, I might just come to the airport just to hang out. Actually, I need to go to the airport because if you want to extend your visa, you need to do some things, and then the office is at the airport.
Okay.
So it's
a good experience. Nice airport.
They got a grocery store at the airport. It's weird, like a high end. It feels like a Whole Foods type of grocery store right at the airport.
The whole airport is like a Whole Foods. If you think it really feels more like a mall than an airport. It feels like an upscale mall.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't see like a Burberry store there.
Yeah, it was like it was just something you just feel it. As soon as you get to the airport, you're like, oh yeah, I'm in a nice place.
Yeah, it's a very different vibe when you go to the airport in Rio and somebody's like trying to shine your shoes
or San Paulo's airport. Even San Paulo's airport, you're just like, oh man, I gotta stay in this thing. It's because
it's cold and there's mosquitoes in it for some reason.
Yeah, and it's dark. It's kind of has a imagine a light like half of what I got going on right here right now. It's like dark like that. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here, man? People look mad up in there who work in the airport. Yeah, just not a good look. But you come to Florianopolis, it's complete opposite. It's bright. It probably be a rainy day and it still be much brighter in there. But yeah, let's see what question we had here is
Europe and Asia.
Yeah. Oh, Europe and Asia straight. It depends on where, right? Like it really.
I've actually never been. So
you never been? I will say, I don't know. Europe is a big place. I spent a lot of time in Germany, France. I want to spend some more time in Eastern Europe. I want to go to some places out there that I don't see a lot of, even YouTubers going.
You should go to what is it, Montenegro?
Yeah, that might be a place too.
I think that's a good spot to go to.
I remember when I was in Germany, 2007, 2008. When I was living there, I remember they used to have these commercials on the channels out there. And they would talk about Montenegro. They were trying to pump it up for tourism back then, and they were showing all the good sides of it. And I still don't think it got any real traction from that campaign they used to push back then. But yeah,
if you look at so what I do a lot, one of the reasons I haven't gone to Europe is I was actually planning on going to Turkey, and then the kind of the war broke out between Russia and Ukraine, and I put a little pause on it just because I knew I wanted all that to settle down. But really, man, it's just the music is such a strong thing for me. And I know that if I went to Europe, I'd have a good time. So I'm still planning on going to Europe. I still want to go to Turkey or go to Spain.
Right.
And Tenerife, Spain, Montenegro, those are some places I'm looking at. Greece, I'm not really feeling it. But Spain and Montenegro and maybe a couple other places in Eastern Europe. Obviously, I want to check out Paris.
You say you're not feeling Greece?
Greece, no, man. I don't know. It's maybe it's because I'm more of like a Turkish guy. I guess I have a lot of Turkish friends.
Don't sleep on Greece. I've been there before, and it's the island of Crete, and it was a good time, bro. And especially during the summer or spring. Actually, yeah, starting very soon, a lot of other Europeans come there.
Oh, yeah, and it's like a visa and all that stuff is over there too.
Because it's cheap, and compared to their countries, it's cheap and it's warm. It's one of the first places that get hot out there, and yeah, it's a good time, bro.
I guess I could never say a country's bad. Like I don't want to be one of those people who's like, this country's bad because it's a giant country.
Yeah, I had a good time in Greece. I was there for like 1 week, and I was like, shoot. Matter of fact, yeah, I need to go back there. I do need to go back there.
Yes. Every place probably has its pluses for sure. I'm gonna eventually make my way to Europe though.
Yeah.
I want to go to Ethiopia too, man. Like that's the spot I've been trying to get to. I used to have an Ethiopian girlfriend in high school, and ever since then I've been trying to make my way to Ethiopia.
I had a friend in middle school. She was from Eritrea, and she was all, I think in that grade we were the only Africans, at the school. So she'd be like, "Oh, my African brother," and she had just came over from Eritrea like maybe the year before. So, but yeah, she was always real cool to me. But
Yeah, for everybody who's watching this, if you guys have Tinder International, go to Tinder in Ethiopia and check it out.
maybe I should. Maybe see that's the devil of Tinder. Passport where you can just hop around because you be like, and then you be building this relationship over there. You're like, yo, I gotta go there now. I got to go there now. But I think I like to do it. I like to do it the other way where I'm thinking about going to a place already, and
Yeah.
then I look at it.
Well, the thing about Tinder, man, especially Tinder, I think Tinder in Brazil is not really that good. I think it can work for you, but Tinder in Brazil is literally the beach. Like you go to the beach and you say hello and then take it from there.
Yeah.
It's the beach, it's the bar, it's the restaurant. Like it's so easy to just talk to people.
Yeah.
Whereas in Colombia, I don't know. In Colombia, it's pretty easy to talk to people. Actually, I think everywhere is pretty easy to talk to people.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on your personality.
Yeah, I think Colombia, it's Medellin and in Bogota. Bogota is kind of, it's easy to talk to them, but then where it goes after that is kind of like you could think you're good, and then it's just like you just got a number or Instagram, and it's just whatever. And then sometimes it's actually like, hey, we've been talking all this week, we've been hanging out the whole week, and but I feel like in Bogota, I think the other side of it that is not apparently obvious is there's a lot of options for the women as well. So you in Bogota, they stuff goes south with you or drops off or just goes silent after a few days, they on to something else. I feel like that's what's going on. I'm not for certain, but more than likely that's what's happening out in Bogota. But yeah, let me see what else we got as far as comments. What's this right here? iPhone 14 compression is good too. Oh, he's talking about the camera stuff. Yeah, very fast. Okay, yeah, that goes back to what we were talking about before with when I was talking about the GoPro. Yeah, they do upload pretty good. I feel like YouTube loves iPhone footage. Like they have some type of behind the scenes agreement with Apple. It's like, hey, we're gonna Kodak ours like this. We good? And YouTube's like, oh yeah, we got y'all. Y'all got a special place, because their HDR footage, even on my iPhone 12, when I try to push it through certain software like DaVinci Resolve, it's like a whole different thing. It does something that it's like you got to go through and set it up to get it to look right, which I still haven't figured that out. But when you upload it straight to YouTube or you put it through a light editor, it just goes up and looks like magic on YouTube. So, but yeah, what editing software are you using?
I just use LumaFusion to edit my videos. They just released DaVinci, but I'm just going to stick with LumaFusion, keep it simple. So
yeah, LumaFusion, I still have it, and I think I'll use it for a lot of my shorts. But I was using Luma for 2 years now, off my iPad and my iPhone. Pretty much everything I did up until like my latest Africa video, so maybe December or January, was all done in LumaFusion. And then after that, I downloaded DaVinci Resolve, started using that, and I was like, all right, let me just dig in and go deep with it.
You think it's overall a better product?
It is. I mean, it's night and day. And at first I was like, man, this thing might be too much for me, right? But what DaVinci Resolve did is they have this thing called the cut page. And the cut page is basically, it works like LumaFusion. So it works like, the thing about LumaFusion, and anybody who's used iMovie, LumaFusion, or Final Cut Pro, what you're used to is and even what's the other one? Filmora. What you're used to is a magnetic timeline. So
Yeah.
whenever you chop something, it automatically syncs up with the main timeline, right? Um, DaVinci Resolve and other editing softwares, when you're in the edit tab, it doesn't do that. You cut something, it just stays a gap right there. Then if you close that gap, other things will get shifted. They'll just, like, if you had something 2 minutes down the line and it was like music below it, it'll be out of sync now because you just shifted that one piece. But when you go into the cut tab, it acts like you want it to. Because I'm used to that too. I'm used to the magnetic timeline. But when you want to get more detail with some things, then you hop back over to the edit tab, and then you can do more work and get a lot of other things done. But you can do almost everything you would do in LumaFusion, you can do on DaVinci Resolve in the cut page, or the cut page. That's what they call it. So I'm liking it. It's some other. I feel like I'm future proofing my skills when I deal with DaVinci Resolve versus LumaFusion. I still think it's a great product, and I think when you're in the beginning, it's really good to mess with it because you're learning the ins and outs of editing and just putting something together. Because I feel like LumaFusion is easier to tell a story because it stays right there versus getting sucked into the zoom that I'm trying to do or the color, which I'm still working on a video that hopefully will be out tomorrow, but maybe 2-3 days from now, we'll see. But yeah, what else? We got some people hitting us up with some questions now. Let's see. Why isn't Tinder good in Brazil? Man, you gonna have to watch it on the replay, man. We went over that. Like it's
quick summary.
Yeah.
It's a lot of transvestites, and the beach just works better. Like it's easier to you can meet women on Tinder, but it happens a lot faster on the beach. So if you meet somebody on Tinder, you got to do the back and forth negotiation, this and that, and then you don't speak Portuguese. But if you meet somebody on the beach, you can meet them, talk to them, and you go on a date. Like a couple hours later, you can get off of the beach, go for a paquina. I was actually with a girl on the beach, and she's like, "Yeah, usually after we go to the beach, we usually have sex. That's what we do." And so it's like, the beach is just where it's going down.
Emergency alert! Emergency alert from Big Mike! Emergency message from Big Mike. He said,
"Oh, San Diego's a hidden gem."
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. But obviously, in the back of my head, I'm thinking about the one brother that was out there that was taking pictures and got killed. Obviously, that's just one instance, right? And Chile, Santiago's a big city. But I did meet some people from there about a year ago in Mexico, and it was a couple. I thought it was a couple, but the girl was on me. The dude had to. We were just talking, and the dude had to pull her back.
But, you're definitely going to be more exotic in places like Chile,
that's what he's
Ecuador.
Saying right here. That's what he said. He's like, I'm literally the only brother out here. A lot of stairs in a good way. I'm getting attention from the females.
And then if he likes that, then Argentina is also a good spot.
I'm getting my ticket, bro.
Is that where you're heading to next?
I'm getting my.
Man, you should go to Argentina since you're right here.
Mike. Hold it down, Big Mike. I'm on my way, man. I'm gonna look at them tickets tonight. Just because here's the thing too. I feel like Florianopolis. I've figured it out, and I could stay here another month. No, easy. I could easily stay here another month. But I will say the thing, while I'm down this far south on the continent, I do think about, should I hop over to Buenos Aires, places like Santiago, Chile? They're not normally they're it's like a 10-hour, you have layover plus 10 hours of flying or 8 hours of flying. But now since I'm down here, it's a lot easier to get around. Man.
Buenos
Say
Aires.
that.
I want to go to Uruguay and Buenos Aires and Chile. Those are the 3 places
Yeah.
I want to hit up.
So it's funny too because my friend, she was asking me from out here. She was asking me just 2 days ago. She's like, she needed to go somewhere. She's like, oh, I'm thinking about going somewhere. I was like, yeah, I was thinking about going somewhere too, for like a week or 2 weeks. And I think she went to Peru. Um, but I was like, nah, I don't really feel like going to Peru right now. But Santiago, Chile, I know the safety is relatively high there, especially if you're in the good areas. If you stay in the good areas, it's pretty good from what I'm hearing. I could be wrong, but uh, so combine that with what Big Mike is giving us,
Damn.
might have to see what's up. Yeah. So the brother that got shot, he was a young brother. He was I think he was working in New York, but he's from the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. You know, a young professional guy, right? Good family background, all that stuff. And I think he was just taking pictures in the wrong neighborhood, and some dudes came up to him. And from what it sounds like, from what I heard, I haven't followed up on the story yet. And this happened like 2 months ago, I think 2, 3 months ago. They just ran up on him and shot him right there. Um, yeah, and it's sad. It's a sad case, but that's and you hear things like that, and it's funny because I've never heard anything on Chile before, and then I hear that, and then it gives like a bad taste in your mouth about Chile. But being a seasoned traveler, you just know like, okay, this is a city of millions of people, and it's the first time I'm hearing of an American. As sad as it is, as tragic as it is, it's the first time I'm hearing of an American having any troubles out there. It still doesn't take it off the map. But it is funny how these things stain your memory or stain your view of a place very quickly. Um, yeah, so yeah, that's true. It can happen anywhere in the world, man. Yeah, that's just basically what I was saying.
I want to say for Big Mike, Uruguay actually might be one of this. I don't know if Chile is safer, or if Uruguay is safer, but Uruguay is up there as one of the safest countries in Latin America as well.
Uruguay,
Also, one
yeah,
of the most boring
yeah.
countries in Latin America.
That's
Has
what I
got a
was gonna
reputation
say.
for that.
I think Uruguay might be safe because it ain't that many people there. Like they talk about Montenegro, and they say that it has an aging population. Like there's not a lot of young people there at all. So crime,
If you were in Uruguay, where are you going to go? Brazil. That's where you want to go to. So.
yeah, pretty much. I think what is it,
Montevideo, yeah,
Montevideo
super
is their
safe place.
capital, and they just make it sound like it's a pretty place. You got some decent restaurants. Ain't nothing to do. Whenever you look it up or look videos up, everybody will agree ain't nothing to do. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. I'll probably skip that. Okay, money. Okay, appreciate that. Appreciate that. It's yeah, but I think I do need to get over to Santiago. I need to do some research on Santiago. But the people I've met and talked to that have been there, it's all been good, good, good energy that I'm getting from there. So I need to look it up a little bit more and see what's good there. What's up with? Okay, yeah, the population of the country is 3 million. Dang, if that's true,
That's
okay.
my high
And then
school.
the capital is only 600K, which yeah, that's what it is, bro. They ain't no young people commit all the violent crimes. Young men typically. After a man gets to about 40 years old, crime drops off. No matter where in the world you are, crime just drops off dramatically after age 40 something. It starts, you know how most
Yeah,
of
I
you
know how
guys
it is.
out there, you know what you was doing when you was a teenager and in your 20s or whatever. So, um, and those, like I said, I feel like their population is the fact that they don't have a lot of crime, and they probably got stiff rules on it too. So,
Weed is legal.
Say that again.
So weed is legal.
Yeah. Oh, in Uruguay.
Yeah,
Dang.
it's like a socialist government, super left.
Okay. If you like snow
Like
buddies,
snow
you'll
bunnies,
enjoy
you want to
Chile.
enjoy Chile.
I just like
They're trying to
beautiful.
get you.
I just like beautiful women. You know what I mean? In general, which they're snow or chocolate bunnies. They none of them are off my radar. It's just long as they have decent attitudes towards me. That's the main thing. If they feeling me and show me some love, I'm showing them love. Um,
Yeah,
how
how
much
do you earn
money we?
money? No, how do you earn money?
Oh,
I'm
how do I earn
assuming
money?
YouTube. He's a YouTuber. That's how he earns his money.
But yeah, YouTube ain't making no. I mean, it's it's I made a
You gotta
little
have
bit of
ace
money.
levels of dedication to make
Nah,
money off of YouTube.
not yet, not yet.
You're not
I
there
feel like
yet.
YouTube is a long game anyway. Like
Yeah.
you can't you can't just come in and expect to. I don't care how much you do. I don't think in the first year or two you can expect to make real substantial, sustainable money on YouTube. I
Yeah,
think it's
I
just a
think
long.
YouTube is a vessel for other areas to make money. Like you can use it to
Yes,
sell a product or to
right.
network or something like that. So
Although I will say, if you want to make money from YouTube, I think it's two things, two or three things you need. One, you need dedication to doing that.
mhm.
Two, you need patience, and then three, you need to work hard, right? Like you can't expect it to come fast. I feel like if you keep working hard, you get better and better. It'll be like a residual thing. By the time for somebody like me, if I keep going and then I get better at doing videos and I keep it and I actually keep going, I don't get distracted with something else in my life. Um, it'll get to a point where the money come in, and if I do make a bunch of money on YouTube, it won't even be a surprise because it came so dang slow. uh, but for the most part, I've had investments, I've had real estate, other things I got going on, but you know, is what it is. You figure out how you gonna make money. And I would say this: I've been getting this question recently. People asking, "Oh, you spending this and spending that?" Like, bruh, do you know there's YouTubers out there that have maybe 100,000 subscribers or around there, just 100,000, and are crushing it when it comes to money? Like I think people think that how can I say this? They want to ask somebody like me how I earn, but yet not the person that's actually killing it when it comes to the money. You know what I mean?
Well, because I think is they know you're not making your money off of YouTube. So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like me, I'm barely approaching. I started doing this when I left the United States,
right.
and now I'm finally starting to get back to being more consistent about it.
Mm.
But I don't plan on making money from YouTube like for a while. I'm just gonna post consistently as much as I can.
Yeah.
And then I have another YouTube channel, but that's just for my clients. And
Okay.
that I just post as a supplement for my coaching clients. And so for
Gotcha.
me, YouTube is a potential, and it's a great way to meet people and network. And it's how I met Ace, how I met you.
Right.
So it's really like a community as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's yeah, YouTube can be a launch for other things. Like you said, if you want to meet people, all of that, even if you get your own business, you're trying to sell products. Me personally, I think about all those different levers that you can pull on YouTube. And for me, I think I just want to stick to the main thing of making videos, getting AdSense. All this other
Mm,
stuff,
yeah.
it could be cool. It could be cool. Like it could. The only other thing I see is maybe selling photos or videos to certain people. That's a spinoff of what I'm already doing anyway. But I don't want to really go too far off in any direction because you only got so much energy, right? And if YouTube is getting better at being YouTube, then why don't I just keep doing YouTube and staying with these winners? Like I feel like if you're a YouTube creator and you're doing your thing there, you're basically working for a tech company. You know, you're especially if you start to understand the algorithm and how things are getting uh, pushed and all that, and you've seen it over the years. You know, you could probably teach a class if you've done YouTube for 5 years straight. You could probably teach a class on how to improve things on YouTube. Maybe you got the energy for this, or maybe you don't. But these are the things you could do. Um, so I don't know. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and for me, another one of the reasons I started doing YouTube is because I just wanted to share my experience because I got motivated from watching brothers travel on YouTube
Mhm.
and you know, like going to Santiago, Chile, just from the fact that Big Mike said that he went to Santiago, Chile. Now everybody who was a witness to this is now interested in going there. And a lot of brothers before YouTube and before they started watching people like Ace and stuff.
I think your mic cut out. Okay,
Yeah, I
there you
just
go.
muted my. This is a Shure mic and it's got like a touch screen, so you can just like touch it and it
Ah,
mutes
okay,
itself,
okay,
which is nice, but it's kind of annoying.
gotcha.
But yeah, it's. I think the more of us are putting out these videos, and we're not necessarily like super experienced international. Well, you're actually a pretty experienced international traveler, and I'm getting
Right.
there. But it's gonna make other people realize that like a dude from Ace, just a homie from Miami, you know,
Mhm.
he just moved, traveled around Colombia, and now
Yeah,
he's like making his living off of that. I think it's showing a lot of people that you
it's an
don't, you
option.
know, the American dream is not the only dream. There's a lot of other opportunities. And
Well,
I
it's
think this is
funny.
kind of an extension of the American dream.
That's what I was going to say. It is that because here's the thing that a lot of people don't give credit to the U.S. for. Let me hide this. I'm gonna get to these questions in a minute. But a lot of and I, don't get it twisted. I know America has plenty of problems that we need to fix, right? But one thing they blessed us with, I don't care what your race is, I don't care what your gender, none of that. They blessed you with the English language, and then they took that English language and they made the internet. That came from the English language. Like, I'm not saying like you had to speak English to contribute to the building of the internet, but it was built natively in English by people who spoke English. So think about that. We've been dealing with video games, internet, cell phones before anybody else on the planet, really. I mean, you could say Europeans or maybe some people in Asia, you know, if they were really above the cutting edge. And then if you compare them to maybe somebody who was really late in America adopting a lot of things, yes, they will be probably five. There's people in other countries that are 5 years ahead of some Americans for sure. But in general, en masse, most of us are far years ahead of a lot of other people when it comes to even just understanding how these things work. The fact that, you know, if you're watching this and I'm telling you I got a Sony mirrorless and I'm going through StreamYard and da da da, you probably understand what I'm talking about. Some people in a lot of other countries, maybe even here in Brazil, some people might not understand how I'm getting this quality image or how we're streaming. And I got this screen split. There are now. I'll take that back and say this too. In Florianopolis, I've seen a lot of digital creators. I saw one guy, met him. He had the same camera I got. Uh, his English was so-so. His girlfriend spoke really good English, but he's creating content for Instagram and he crushing it. Actually, I met him at the Starbucks. He was editing on Premiere Pro, and his edits. I follow him on Instagram now. His edits are crispy, bro. They look pro. He's doing professional work. But in general, uh, you don't see a lot of that from a lot of people in these other countries. So as an American, we have been given that advantage, the digital advantage, and everything online. Like I said, everything online is an English word. Like when you talk about dealing with the infrastructure of the internet and understanding, like, okay, we're doing a video conference call, right? In other languages, it's going to sound, everybody's going to know what you're talking about if you say video call. no matter what language they speak. They understand that. You say the internet or laptop, cell phone. These are all English words, right? So I feel like, tell you the truth, as an American doing something online, there's no excuse. I mean, it might not be making a bunch of money right away, but when the whole world gets online, if you start anything now, it's probably going to be, you're probably going to get funneled into something that makes money in a few
Yeah.
years, you know?
Yeah, it's consistency.
Right. But I mean, but it's consistency in a field that is growing like gangbusters. Like, people are just like, 5 years from now, you think less people gonna be online? Like, no, like every, like, people that you thought couldn't get online are going to be online. Yeah. People that, like, younger or more younger people are going to be online. More older people are going to be online. More poorer people are going to be online, and online for longer, doing more things. So, where do you want to be? Where you want to put a lot of your energy? That's how I see it. Yeah, I know I'm ranting on that, but let's see what some of these questions. I got tired of visiting DR, Brazil, Colombia. I just wanted to see a change. Went to Santiago, Chile. Okay, okay, that's, yeah. I mean, I hear you there. Yeah, it's always a good change.
Yeah, I think it's always good to go to those countries that a lot of people haven't visited, just because it'll
Yeah,
be a different experience for you.
yep.
But there's also a reason that everybody goes to DR, Brazil, and Colombia. So
Yeah, but it's funny too, because on that point, yeah, you're definitely right. There's a reason why people go there. But how can I say this? Like, the reason why people went there, like the first time I went to Colombia was 2014. I went to Cartagena. I don't want to go back to Cartagena no more. Personally, from everything I've seen, and I haven't been there since 2017, but it's I feel like you get gringo priced more on everything, hotels and all that, and it's not the same place. So the reason why people that I would have gone there before, I wouldn't go there anymore. So I get it. It gets places get flooded for maybe good reasons, and a good thing becomes not so good of a thing. What do you think makes them receptive to us? Okay, yeah, he's going back and forth with Big Mike.
So
American
yeah,
technology.
just to comment on that receptiveness, I think when you go to places like Brazil and Colombia,
Yeah.
being an American is not as special as it used to be. So if you
Hmm.
go to a place like Uruguay or Argentina, it's just, especially a brother, it's just going to be super
Right.
rare for you to be in Chile, for example. Like, there's just not a lot of us there. Same thing for like Germany or Switzerland or
Germany depends on where you at.
oh,
Germany's
it's changing.
yeah, Germany's and I'll speak on that because Germany has had American soldiers there since World
Oh
War
yeah,
II.
that's right.
You know, it still is. You still will go to some places like smaller villages that, and it's funny, we call them villages. The Germans call them villages, right? But they're really like just small towns. They're well kept, well organized, beautiful little places. And sometimes you go to these places and you'll be, they won't, they're not used to seeing, especially Black Americans there. And if you can speak a little bit of German, it's even more different. Um, but yeah, I mean, Germany in general, I think there's always been a lot of Americans there because of the war and everything. Let's see. Okay. American technology is 5 years ahead of the rest of the world. Google just built a supercomputer that is 1 billion times faster than a regular computer. Yeah, Google is a whole nother beast. When it comes to our our tech industry, like we definitely run that. That's for sure. Now, China, I can't tell you what China's doing because a lot of times we don't have insight to what they're doing. So I don't know how close they are. I will tell you this: when I went to Hong Kong in 1998, it was different. It was different, but the one thing I saw is they had all. the like Windows 2000 was a program on a disc, a CD. Remember that? And it cost like $200. But there was this place in Hong Kong where they had everything pirated, so you could get Windows 2000 and four other things for $25. Any game, computer game, you can get for $25. And I was like, and it was cracked, hacked, and changed over. So if you wanted it in Chinese, it was already translated in Chinese. And if you
Wow.
didn't, if you wanted it in English, you just didn't have to add that other file to it. But yeah, those things work. I had it on one of my laptops, my little compact laptop or whatever. But I remember thinking about it. I was like, man, they copywriting all our stuff over here. And I was like, well, I don't know how else they're gonna catch up when it comes to the digital age. I remember thinking that at the time, but yeah, so I wouldn't, I would say for most of the world, yes, we are up there, but I don't know where China's at. China could be right behind us, and definitely like uh, Korea, Japan, when it comes to like building technical stuff, they crushing it. Uh, okay, you're from Italy, Moni. You know what? I need to go to Italy. I haven't spent enough time in Italy. I think I went to Sicily once, and I was only there for like 2 days. So I really didn't experience Italy like that. But
Yeah, looks like it'd be a good visit.
yeah, I need to go really visit Italy. Um, yeah, I love Italian food culture. Most of the Italians I meet in America or other places, they
Well,
real cool.
Brazilian has a lot of like Italian heritage too.
Yeah, yeah,
A
that's
ton of
right.
it down
Yep,
here.
yep. Let me see. Okay, yeah. Let me put his. I got his channel in the description, but let me go ahead and post it here too. I had it up here a minute ago.
Moni, it is Andre every other day.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna put a
Ace
link.
interviewed me twice, I think, when he went to Barranquilla
Okay.
in Colombia.
Did he uh did he put it in the did he link your channel?
But he's got so many videos that
Oh yeah.
you gotta look, you gotta search for that one.
Yeah. Actually, I was looking at a live that me and him did. So here's another thing about um another thing about DaVinci Resolve that they just came out with on an update. Let me get back to this. They just came out with an update that and that's his channel right there. Okay. Oh, appreciate the super chat. Who this
What's up,
from?
Sec? Cease.
C's.
I just call him Sec.
C's, what's
Yeah, I was
good,
supposed to
man?
get. So remember, I was talking about how I got the scar on my face. I was supposed to go to Rio Black with them, but I had this scar on my face and I was like bleeding from my face, and I don't want to go to this club. Yeah, I'm going to
Oh
this
Lord,
club,
that'll
Rio
that'll
Black.
ruin your day right there.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, be careful with those waves.
Yo, yeah, I've had some wave tumbles before in California, and if you've had a real like a wave really throw you, and the funny part is some of the waves in California ain't even that high. The wave will be not even that big, but it'll be fat. The behind the wave will be like this big. So when it hits you, it's like getting hit by a little Mike Tyson or something. That thing just take you down and just abuse you. You like, boo boo, and you're like, hey. So the when I felt that, I appreciated like, okay, some of those surfers out in Hawaii, those big wave surfers, bro. You listen to what they talk about when they take real waves out there and they fall. They have to be ready to be underwater for 30 seconds at a time, and then come up, and then maybe another 30 seconds. I'm like, yo, that's serious. So the ocean is a beast, man. You don't want to in Moley Beach out here. I heard the waves can get pretty rough, so it's not the best place to go swimming. Surfers love it because the waves come in, but um, yeah, those waves can get you. Let me see. Let me go back up to. Dang, we had a lot of comments come in. I think Okay, we was from here, went from there. Okay, NYC. Yeah, a lot of times in NYC. Okay, yeah, that's what we hit. We hit that on the channel. Okay, check. Got that. Um, okay, yes, we're gonna wrap it up soon, but let me shoot through this right quick. Or if Dre, if you got to roll out, just let me know and I can take over some of the chat messages and stuff. Or if you want to say something right quick, some departing words, I'll give you the screen and I'm gonna go
Yeah,
use the
I will
bathroom
do
real quick.
that. I'll give
All right,
some
let
departing
me
messages here.
let me see what I can do here. Hold on, let me how do I shift this? Actually, this is what I'll do.
Oh, okay, it's just me. All right, so everybody, I want to say thank you for all the Tay's viewers. Yeah, check out my channel, Andre Every Other Day. It's just super chill, just stories, and I do shorts just about travel tips. But in general, if I was comparing Rio to Florianopolis, I prefer Rio because of the culture, the music, the people, the dancing. It's a lot more open, and the beach. The beaches are amazing, and there's so many places that are wonderful. You should definitely travel to them all. But so far, my favorite has been Rio. I love Florianopolis though; it's great. So Tay, thank you. If you want to switch it back over, I'm gonna head out, going to the gym, and then going to the beach.
We'll get up some other time and yeah, man, appreciate it.
Okay. All right. So I will
We'll
see
chat.
you. Have a good night.
All
Take it
right, man.
easy. Peace. Travelmatic.
Cool. Yeah, so that was good timing, man. Right when I was finishing at the bathroom. All right, so I'm gonna just hit up some of these questions right here. Um, let me see. Let me see. Go back up to the top. Yeah, we kind of. How long we been going anyway? Hour and 42 minutes. Okay. Germany has many different cultures. Okay, you're from Europe. Nice. Yeah, you're right. Germany. There are in Europe in general. There's a lot of different cultures. A lot of people get Europe. A lot of Americans get Europe confused in some ways. They think it's much bigger than what it is, and that's what's very unique about Europe is you don't have to drive far. I'm talking about driving. You could drive, you could drive so in some instances from a well-known place in the country, let's say Stuttgart, for example. You drive 2 hours, you know, not even two. You could drive 1 hour in some instances and be in France. They don't speak no German, right? It's almost soon as you cross, ain't nobody speaking German no more. You're like, yo, how that happen? How are we just right over there? You come here and people are speaking a totally different language. So uh yeah, Europe is wild like that. And I like that as well because you can get a different feel. They do the roads different in France and different foods, all that stuff. It's crazy. All right, so basically I gotta go to most white catches. Well, if you want to be, I don't know, I'm going back to Big Mike's point on this one. If you want to be uh noticed easily and maybe even I won't say revered, but looked up to, if you're in good shape, you got your, you can go out and do things, you got your freedom notes available, then yeah, you it's going to go further in places where you're more noticeable, I would think. Not always the case. I mean, there's a lot of places in Africa that you can go and we look like the people, but they know you're American and you'll get a lot done just off that. But in general, yeah, if you go, I'm sure if you, even though politically it's not the place to go right now, but I'm sure if you went to parts of Russia, I'm not saying every place in Russia, but I'm sure there's probably parts of Russia that you can probably go and you might have a great time just because you're different. You're very different. I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. I think, from what I've heard, I think some places in Italy they are. Actually, I know that because I've met some Italians even when I was in France and Europe in general. Um, yeah. Yep. Yep. Well, good. Yeah. Yep, man. We was out here. Let me scan through these comments right quick. They started popping. See, this is what happens when you get Mona. See, when you get a woman in the chat, you start getting more chat activity. Appreciate that. Need to stop by more often. Uh okay, yeah, that's Andre's channel right there. I was just showing that earlier. Okay, okay. Let's see. All right, we got a big comment. You must go to Bahia de Salvador. I want to go there so bad. Have a lot of history of Africa there because of the history with the Portuguese. History's not nice because of the slave trade. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've known it's funny, but my uncle and my dad went to Bahia in the late 80s, I think, or early 90s. And they had a great time, told me about it. I remember back then, I want to say it was bad then too. Like there was a certain level of poverty that my dad was saying, like, hey, my dad's African. He was like, well, we didn't even see that in Africa. He mentioned how the people would, if you were poor and living on the street, those people would get run over by cars at certain times back then. And but nobody would come pick up the body. So the body would just keep getting ran over. And the only way you could tell was a human or animal was by the hair texture on that thing. And I remember I heard that. I was like, and this is coming from my people telling me this, not some outside. I was thinking, like, dang, what the hell? But I never heard anything about that again, which is weird. And I don't know if they were in some off the beaten path place in Salvador. I don't know exactly where they were. But yeah, I just thought about that now. I haven't thought about that in years. But I don't hear anybody else talking about that currently today. Okay. All right, yeah, I think we were saying all right, we almost caught up. Yep, I am retired. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I heard that. But I don't hear much about that at all these days. So I think maybe where things have gotten better to the point where that doesn't happen, um, and everything. So it's just one of those parts of history. Different cities, different areas go through periods where they're struggling with crime and all of that. And I think maybe you know around the world people had their things, uh, their issues to deal with. Let me see. Where do I want to focus my videos next? I mean, so I got this video coming out. Probably, we'll see if it comes out tomorrow, but it will be out this week for sure. It's done right now. I could probably push it out. The only thing is, it's kind of it almost feels like a Selena advertisement because it's mainly at Selena, and it was a lot of content, and I just want to get it out. You can call it Selena advertisement if you want to. Don't matter. It still has good visuals. It's explaining the area, and then after that, I need to work on some other stuff out here that I was doing, a hike that I did, and all that. But I kind of want to stay the same with what I'm doing, travel videos, and doing stuff like that. See, we could talk about it offline and see where, maybe run some suggestions and see where I want to go. But I think I think the travel niche is still good to do. I think travel videos will always be good. It's an evergreen type of thing. I can be showing you travel videos now in 2020, 23, and somebody could be watching them in 2033. You see what I'm saying? And then just look back and like, oh, okay, this is what it was like back then. Oh, this is what they was doing. Oh, the city wasn't even, they ain't even built up this part of town yet. Or this what the cars look like. This what so and so look like. There'll always be something. I think as YouTube grows, there'll even be older videos that will somehow raise up and get traction. So yeah, evergreen content, man. That's what I want to do. Nothing too crazy, wild. Just keep it in the pocket. Okay, man. Maybe we might have to do. I'm feeling. I think I need to take this camera and take it to Chile, and show the good places. Right. I ain't gonna try to get caught up in the bad areas, but take it around and show more of Santiago anyway, and show a little bit of that city, man. Sounds like a good time. People seem to want to know. So, Big Mike, man, we might have to chat offline, man. Might have to hit you up. Let's see, Big Mike, you gotta throw your Instagram up in here, man, so we can see what's up. Or you can hit me up on my Instagram. Y'all should know my Instagram. If not, it's at Technology. Let me see. I'll type it in here on Instagram. Let's see what we got. Or hey, or better yet, Big Mike, you want me to send you the link? I send you the link. You come up on here right now and start chatting. Let me close this window right quick. It got cool enough in here already. This live is going longer than I thought. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, so we last comment was from Moni. Okay, hold on. Let me go up here. I'm missing some comments. I'm hopping around. Sorry. Okay. He said, why are you in Ace and not in Bahia de Salvador? Ace got some other plans, man. I don't know if he's I don't know if he's coming to Brazil this time or not. But he got some other plans. I'm in Brazil. I wanted to keep it here because not a lot of people been here. There's a lot of people in Salvador right now. A lot of YouTubers covering Salvador. I know Philly Dom is out there. There's another young cat who's been doing some stuff out there. Um, I don't want to get his channel name wrong right now, but I feel like there's been a lot of content recently on Salvador, um, which is good. It's if they crushing it, let them keep crushing it. But it's a lot of room. I think at a certain point, I probably will make it out there. I don't know if it'll be on this trip, but we'll see. You never know. Maybe. Yeah, she said yes. True. Argentina has a lot of Italians. Yes, I do feel like there's even from the Argentinians I've met worldwide. I feel like they definitely seem to have that, even the Italian look to a degree. Uh, Ozzy try to figure this thing out, man. He's like, "What's going on out there, man?" Sometimes you just got to go out and fill it out, man. Like what it at this point, I think I don't know. I think some people need to create some videos out there, and then we'll see. You know what it is with travel videos is a lot about the person who makes it. If you don't like the person, you don't watch the video. That's true. That is true. A lot of times it's geared towards the personality. Although you can make videos like one of my one of my most viewed videos is a video where I'm not even in it. It's an 8-minute video. You don't even see my face. You hear my voice and I'm voiceover and some stuff, but it's one of my more popular videos since I think I did something to push it. I think it's the lead video. It's the lead video on my channel. So when you come to my channel, you see that video first. I don't think it's my best video at all, but it's just showing the city of Pereira, Colombia, and that's probably part of it too. Not a lot of videos about Pereira, but yeah, I'm not on a thumbnail. I'm not in it. Yeah. So I think also too, in general, there's a lot of people on the internet or a lot of people who are watching YouTube videos that are not don't look like me, or maybe they don't want to see a person like me. And it's not nothing to do, it doesn't make them racist. It's just sometimes you look at a place and you want to see people that look like you. Well, guess what? There's probably more people that don't look like me online that are looking for information on a certain place. So they want to see somebody that looks like them. I understand. But the people that look like me that want to see a certain place, if they see my picture, they might click on me, maybe. But yeah, you're right. You're totally right, Moni. It's there is a personal element to all videos, all content. Um, some people might not like the fact that I have a hat, baseball hat backwards for some reason. That might tick off some people. I don't know why it would, but I know it does for some people, maybe in certain cultures. Um, yeah. Seems like you would like the water chili dope. Okay. Yeah, we gonna have to I think we gonna have to find out, man. There's a lot of chili talk on here. There's a lot of talk about chili. We gonna have to see. It's just unique, different from Latin America. Santiago, Chile just looks like Denver, Colorado, except more Latin flavor. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, Denver's cool too. Yeah, he dropping some facts on us. What about the culture? What makes them like us so much? Okay. Go to Manaus, the Amazon of Brazil. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that. But when I think about Manaus, and when I think about the Amazon, I was talking with my mom yesterday about that. I was like, I was telling her about Brazil. She don't know much about Brazil at all. I was like, she's like, what they known for? I was like, the Amazon jungle. I was like, but I'm far from that. And I was trying to explain to her about the Amazon, and I was basically saying I would like to go there for a day or see, a short period, see some of the Amazon. I would like to see some of the Amazon, but then I want to get out of there, man, because they got the mosquitoes out there. I heard they carry you away. Not to mention the snakes, the other bugs that probably ain't as dangerous, but just creepy. I ain't trying to be in Manaus. I did hear that. I heard the mosquitoes and the bugs there on a different level. Yeah, I was talking to somebody who was there, and she was saying how even the flies, like you shoot a fly away, that thing it's like stuck to your hand. They like whoop, they'll go with you. You shooting it, it's right there. I'm like, nah, I ain't. I will get quickly annoyed with that, especially coming from here right away, going there. Then what do you need to do? I don't even know what this referring to. Sees. Then that's what you need to do. What we talking about? Oh yeah, more the same style. Okay, yeah. You talking about the Predator video? Yeah, I was discussing that with Ace probably when we was in Colombia. I was talking about that, and it's funny because I did that with my iPhone. That video, that it's funny about that video because I was just like, I need to put something else out on Predator. Yeah, I didn't even. I think I did a video on Predator already before that one. Actually, I think Ace is in that video because I'm showing when we're walking around a little bit. But he's not talking directly in the camera at any point. I don't think. If it is, it's real short. Um, but yeah, that video was just like I was like, man, I just need to put something out. So I just jammed up what I had, put it together. It was like, all right, let me form this, and then boom, put it out. And yeah, it's been doing good. I could have known what I know now. I could have done a lot of things better on it, but that just goes to show you the truth of YouTube. It's like you think you doing something, you think you like the video I'm working on now. You think you doing something, you spending time on something that matters, it don't even matter. Just put it out. Yeah, you know what? Stay tuned. Yeah, I'm probably gonna drop this video, the one I'm talking about, I'm working on. I'm probably gonna drop it either tonight or tomorrow. Not a lot of these YouTubers, not lots of us in these YouTube streets. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right about that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I understand. It's not a we definitely I gravitate towards black YouTubers too. You know, uh, male black YouTubers, but then also when I see a black female, especially if I think she's American, I'll tune. Especially if she's in some place that you wouldn't expect them to be. I'm like, damn, what's going on over there? How's she making it work over there? And I think um, Travelmatic had a young uh, lady on yesterday, and she's in Tijuana, Mexico. So she was talking about some stuff. I was like, oh, okay, dang, that's different. I did meet a young black woman in Tijuana years ago, like 2016, 17, and it was her and her guy. I think her dude was Mexican American, and they were living over there. And I remember I saw them carrying groceries and all that, and I talked with them for like 30 minutes. It was interesting conversation too. Let's see. Kirk Cass and his videos have above 200K per video. But yeah, what, you ain't got no connection with him? I know he's big. I think a lot of people do connect with him because he's a young white guy going to places that a lot of a lot of, I would say, the European and American white males are probably some of the most well-traveled people, right? And then after them would be the females from Europe, you know. Uh, so they're seeing somebody that they can identify with, that they look like, they can connect with. He's going to get views just off that. That's going to be his core base, and there's nothing, you can hate on him if you want to. There's nothing you can do about that. That's always going to be there. He's out there doing it, and he's in places where the funny part is he's in places where people don't look like him. You see what I'm saying? Right? But if you're a black YouTuber and you go to places where people don't look like you, people are like, oh, what you doing there? Why you over there? I'm trying to show you new things. And obviously, I'm not as young as Cat Kurt, so we probably going to get a different demographic on that as well. But it's all about that community as well. We don't have a cultivated adventurer community in the black community, but it's growing and it's coming, and it will be the youth that come up, will be they will have a crowd behind them for sure. And hopefully it gets to a certain point where it don't even matter if you look like me or not. It's more about what you're doing. You're going to a place I want to go, and you have a mindset like me. Once we get there, it's a wrap. Everybody who's of certain mindset will be able to do well. Okay. Okay. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like Moni watches a lot of black YouTubers. So that's good. We need to support. Okay, so you never watched his videos. Oh, you talking about you never watched Kurt Katz's videos? I've watched a few of his videos. He has a certain style. It's very bare bones. Out there. If you haven't been to a place and you you want to see content on a certain thing, I can't say I wouldn't watch him. I'll watch any YouTuber if I'm trying to build knowledge of a place, even if I might not like the style of their videos. If I'm trying to consume more knowledge about a certain place, I'll probably watch their video. That's the way I am. I'll support if it's on the subject I want to learn about. Even like I watch right now. I'm watching a lot of videos on certain editing software. The one I'm using for that I'm learning now, DaVinci Resolve, and I don't see a lot of black YouTubers doing reviews or tutorials on it. But the ones I do see, I watch them, even if I've already watched it from somebody else. Um, but there's a lot of people putting out stuff like that. So if I want to learn about this software system, I have to go to the people who teach the best or have the most information on it or put out the most stuff on it, um, or have the most current stuff, which is weird with tutorials because they're not evergreen. If you're talking about something that's even this software in 2 years, ain't nobody gonna be watching what you're talking about on DaVinci Resolve 18.5. You know, they want to see what you're doing on DaVinci Resolve 20.1 or whatever. So facts. Sometimes the videos I expect to get less views get more views than the ones I really like. Yep. That's how it be. That's how it be. Curse Cast love Medellin. He back over there. I mean, it's hard not to love Medellin. Like it has a unique feel, and whenever you think you've written off Medellin and you go back there, you're like, oh, okay. And you will get stuck for a minute. All his thumbnails about women. Women invite me into this house. Blah blah. Every thumbnail. Yeah, I haven't noticed that. I haven't. I don't think he's not in my feed enough for me to notice any of that. But you might be right. Yeah, I don't know. I will say having women on the thumbnail definitely helps. I, I would think at his level though, he don't need the extra help. He's killing it as far as the numbers go from what I see. Um, I put the women in my video, or one girl and a guy on the last thumbnail. Um, they wanted me to take that picture. It wasn't that we didn't say it was going to be for the thumbnail, but they wanted me to take that picture of them jumping. We actually did that shot twice. She was coming from the other direction the first time, and then I think something was a little off, and we did it from the other direction. They went the other direction where the guy was coming from this way, she was coming from that way, and they jumped. Um, but yeah, it was mainly a test for this camera to see how good of a picture I could get. But I think it worked out good. They got everybody on that group from that last video. We went to Campeche Island. I made an album of all the photos. They got all the photos, right? And even some of the edited ones. They got a link to an edited folder I have so they can view all the photos after I edit them. But they all got the raw photos. They all got the raw video. Actually, no, they didn't get the video. So I need to figure out if some of them are still around. I need to try to link up with them and give them the videos. But yeah, not necessary for me to visit a location where other people have similar appearance. Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. It's obviously I got family in Africa. I visit Africa. There's a lot of Africa I haven't seen that I still am probably going to visit, maybe even this year. Um, and there's parts of Africa where I don't have any family ties, like Ethiopia, that part of Africa. A lot of people say I look like I'm from there. Um, so, but I'm going to Ethiopia at some point. I will visit there. That's a lot of culture there, a lot of beautiful people there. Uh, and for the most part, the people I've met from there seem to be pretty nice people. So interesting place. I need to go to Ethiopia at some point for sure. How much people follow American basketball there? I haven't heard. It's funny in Brazil, in Florianopolis, I haven't heard many people talking about American basketball. I have seen some basketball courts, which not a lot, but they did stick out to me. I was like, dang, they got a court here. And there's one court I saw, and there's always people playing there. Not a lot, but there's always somebody at the basketball court doing something. I'm not that big of a basketball player, so it's not like if I felt like if I went close to a basketball court and I started speaking English, people like, oh hey, let's ball. I'm like, nah, man, I ain't that 8-year-old over there probably crushed me, man. I ain't getting on the court with y'all. Y'all out here balling every day. Kirk Cats has balls though, yeah. Yeah, man. To tell you the truth, man, I feel like he does have he does have some nuts for going in some of those places he goes, but at the same time, that's all he's doing. That's his pretty much his job now, right? So I get it. Um I think he has a little bit of like MMA under his belt. He did some training when he's in Thailand at least. So he might have had some training before and some type of martial art, which is cool. It still ain't gonna help you if you're in a bad place and you're pulling out weapons. That don't matter. But it does give you confidence, right? Especially if you were a kid and you trained on any of the combat arts, you will have a certain level of confidence about you. So I see that in him. He definitely has that, which is good. Um, but yeah, it's. I feel like you can only do that for so long, that type of stuff, before things just go south too many times. Like, hopefully he's good, right? Regardless, but you keep exposing yourself to stuff like that, you'll eventually get tired of it. You're like, man, I'm dealing with this, and I'm making he's making too much money to be in the hood. I think people just haven't figured that out yet. The places he's going, they don't understand how lucrative that thing is. But once more places do, he's going to be limited on the places he can go, you know, and hopefully he figures that out before things go south. But things can go south even if you're not making money on YouTube, so it don't even matter. It don't even matter. Love life while traveling. It's sporadic. It's sporadic. Sometimes it's like right here, right now. That's not a real concern of mine. I'm actually here to focus more, to be my purpose. I don't know if you were here when I talked about it earlier, but my purpose of coming to Florianopolis was twofold. It was like to come to a place, get some beach time, get some sun, relax, uh, be in a place where I can work out when I need to. Um, and it's funny because you're right by the beaches, and it's still cheaper than if I was back in the States doing nothing. I can be out doing things every day, and even though it's not as cheap as Colombia in a lot of regards, it's cheap enough for me to enjoy myself and still not break the bank. Um, so I've gone out a few times. I've met some people here, but that's not my focus. My focus is to, like I said, to focus on just relaxing, having a good time, and then to dig more into my editing, the craft of editing and filming. So I've been doing a few things out here. I've been taking some footage and some photos uh, that are just they impress me when I look at them. Some of them I can't really share. Actually, there's one video I took of a young lady. I think I shared it on my last live that I made private. Um, Let me see if I can plug in my hard drive. I don't have space right here. The setup I got going on right now, I can't plug in my hard drive. But I was playing around with it, and I took this good video of her in its wide form, regular form video, and it's in good quality. And then I did a few things with the editing software to make it better quality. And then I did some things. I threw it in another software to slow it down, and it just looks bomb. And then I threw some music on it today, and it just looks crazy. It looks like she's walking. It looks like a wave. You just see this wave. It looks like it's about to just drop on her. But it's because of the compression of the lens that it looks like it's so close, but it's not. So you see the wave crush, and she's totally dry. But we're on the beach. It's not a fake backdrop. And stuff like that. Like I'm getting enjoyment out of that. Just dealing with the camera and everything. So as far as love life here or relationship and all that here, as of right now, nothing. Okay. Brazil is all about football. That is for sure. Definitely big on that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Those are definitely more dangerous areas. Yeah, for sure. Or the favelas in Rio. Yeah. A lot of guys do the favela tours too, and I'm not that big on them. Tell you the truth, if I met somebody and they were cool and they invited me there, maybe I would go, but I wouldn't. That's not my intent to try to go and shoot that. A lot of YouTubers will do that because it's interesting to see that way of life, but for me in general, I don't think that's what I do. They got favelas in Florianopolis too. They're not they're not as big. They're more how can I say it? They're more tame than what you would experience in Rio, I think. Is that the case? I don't know, man. I don't know. We have to see what's up, man. We have to see what's up. Yeah, that's a good question. What's the best place for somebody like us to visit in Italy? I've never been to Rome, but I did hear Rome was a good place to check out. Yeah. Yeah, see the thing about this video is it wasn't I didn't take this video for YouTube. I just took it to test out some theories, some camera theories and stuff like that. I I guess I could throw it in as like some video candy at a certain point. Maybe I think at some point I'll do a overall Florianopolis video where it'll be like Peretta, where I'm like where I'm doing like a big voiceover, and maybe that'll be a part of it. Um yeah, the video's dope though. Like that I think it might be 20 seconds, but I think you only need about 7 seconds of it to see what I'm talking about. And it could be a stock footage video. It could be because it's dope. It's dope. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff coming out for making videos now when it comes to equipment and everything. But yeah, where we at? Where we at? Let me know if if somebody wants to jump in the chat. Should we do it? Should we open up? Maybe a YouTube short? Yeah, it could be a short, maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll turn it into a short. But then people be like, what's this about? But yeah, shorts don't even matter. It don't matter what a short is about. But she's in a bikini. And you know, as the shot is from the back, most of it, the part I'm talking about where the wave is crushing, you don't even see her face for the most part. Although I have video of her, of us on camera. Yeah, not a bad idea. You know, never know. I might, I might expect. The good thing I like about shorts is you can experiment with them. Going back to C's comment, you can experiment with them, put out something, and if it don't work, pull it back. You know, so I might, yeah, you never know. I might do that. I think the only thing it needs is a little bit of color. Maybe I add a little bit of color to it, do something. And that's one thing I noticed too when I was, so that experiment, I did notice I wasn't in the highest setting for color, which is weird. Like if you watch it, you won't know any difference, right? It'll still look like an awesome video. The color will probably look pretty good for the most part. Um, but the setting on the camera, I could have put it in a different setting where I had more depth. So if I want to pull the color more, I can still pull it a good amount right now, but I could have had it on a different setting where I could have pulled it more, which live and learn. That's why part of why I did what I did with it. Some days are the day to day. It's, you know, being your own boss, or doing your own thing. I hate that term boss. Everybody's using that term boss like it means something. Most of the time when people say they a boss, they ain't no boss. Um, but when you're in charge of your own affairs, put it like that, doing your own thing. Um, yeah, day to day can look a little different, but I like to get up. Most of the time, I'll look at the video I'm working on, do a little something there, go get something to eat. Um, some days, a few times a week, I'll go right after that and go work out right after eating, even if that's a long walk. Um, and then come back, do some more editing or look at videos, right? If it's one of those days. If it's not one of those days, then I may go to a place and film something or just hang out and see if there's something I can film. And that's what I'm learning about with the camera game. Sometimes you just got to go with the camera. You just got to be in a place with a camera and then post up and then see what you can film. And even though you might spend the whole day taking video, it might be nothing or taking pictures, but then you get these ideas. You start building up, you start forming ideas of what would be a good video, what would be a good picture. And without exposing yourself to the elements, being outside, certain activities, you won't come up with these ideas. It takes time. It's one another thing. It just takes patience and putting yourself in different places, in my opinion. Um, yeah, I have thought about it. I've thought about posting every day, but then I also think about, even today, I was thinking about posting a video, a short about me just talking about posting. But I thought about it and I was like, I could do that. I can start posting every day, but what's the point of that if I want to get better at editing or better at video? I think that will that'll drain my energy for trying to put more energy into making things better. Now, touching a video every day or doing something with a video every day, yes, I am doing that. I'm touching videos every day for the most part. I'm doing light edits. I think yesterday I was looking at the video like the whole day, and I don't think I did much at all today. It felt like a wasted day, but I was looking at the video all day. I think I made like 2 or 3 adjustments, and I'm having some problems on one part because I put a lot of effects on one part, so when I watch it back, it slows it down. Blah blah blah, technical stuff. But then I really didn't start making real moves until later in the evening, like after this time in the evening. I was like, oh, all that stuff I did today was nothing compared to what I did this last hour. And some days are like that. And I think I've learned to be cool with it. Um, but then other days it's funny. The one Medellin video that I did a month ago, or maybe 2 months ago now, uh, I was going to town on that one. I was chopping that. I was doing a lot of work. I don't know how fast I got it out. I got it out pretty fast. Um, yeah, I don't know why that was the case there. I think it was just good energy behind that one. It was easy to get going. I don't think a lot of people watched it, but it is what it is. All right, let me get to some of these other questions. We got some comments coming in. Let's see what's going on. Football. What I like football. Okay, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they have a match while I'm here. That would be interesting to see. I know where the stadium is, at least one of the stadiums. We'll see. Okay. Porta Alegre do Sul. Yeah, I know where that is. I haven't been there yet. I was thinking about going there. Go to Gramado, search on Google. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Okay. We'll check it out. Said, what is the best place? Asking Daniel, what's the best place to visit in Brazil? Brazil is a huge country. Depends on what you would like to do. Yeah, that's a fact, man. Brazil's such a big place. A lot of different things going on. Yeah, that's what I think about, Monet. That's what I think about posting every day too. Is like the quality would definitely suffer, and the quality doesn't have to be the best, right? I think, to tell you the truth, I would just like to get to the point where I can do uh, one a week. If I can constantly get out a good video, long form video once a week, and I'm almost there. I think uh, I'm almost there at getting that out. But I am learning a new editing software, and I think once I start getting this thing down, and I think with DaVinci Resolve, like it will help me uh, keep my mind in certain blocks and think about things a certain way where I can bop 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 bop. So um, I think the more I use it, the more efficient I will get with it, and then I can at least give a certain level of quality. I ain't got to always be pushing and always trying to get better. Although I'm in that phase right now of trying to get better. I think once I get to a certain point, the production quality will kind of plateau, and then it'll be more about other things, maybe the story, or maybe uh getting deeper into a certain subject or a certain thing, or maybe just going after subjects that people request, you know, being able to do that and then still get it out at that quality and in a weekly, or maybe even more than once a week type of fashion. But for right now, I need to focus on the quality. So that's where I believe is more important for me at this point. Although these lives too, and I plan on doing these with some of these lives, is cutting them up, making them their own videos. So even this video, even this live might be, the part with Andre will be turned into its own video. It's I think we put out a lot of good information. I set it up where we had those banners come in. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I was doing stuff like this when we talked about safety and crime. I pulled up something like that. So I think those are good markers to talk about. And another thing that I make sure I'm gonna try to hit all these comments. So if you commented on something, I'm gonna go down the list unless you talking about something crazy. So just bear with me for a second. Um, a lot of these lives now with the software update, one major thing they did is they made it so you can transcribe these videos. So I can take this video, download it, put it in my editing software, hit a button. Even though this live stream is 2.5 hours, it'll take it about 15 minutes on my setup, my computer. I don't have the most RAM and all that, but it'll take it about 20 minutes, and it will type out every word that was spoken that was spoken here. And I can go exactly to that point through the words. I can just put my cursor over the words, click, and it'll start the video right there. So if any of y'all thinking about DaVinci Resolve, that's another killer feature that just popped out. I think, Premiere probably has it as well. I don't know. But yeah. All right, so let me get through these comments right quick. Let's see. Okay, you're gonna get some tips. Search on Google. Okay. I've heard of that place. I know that place. I think it's the one that has like it's like a bunch of sand dunes, and they have these pools of water that are like pristine. Like I don't know how often the rain comes and they get filled up, but it's like these weird pools of water. People don't know about that one. I don't think I've seen too many YouTubers do nothing. No YouTubers that I follow have done anything on it. So yeah, I'm thinking about hitting that one up. And yeah, we don't have a lot of people in the chat either. Yeah, it's still staying a secret. It's still staying a secret. Okay, that one as well. We'll see what's up. Is that in the South too? Is that in Rio Grande do Sul state? Ilha de Grande. Okay. Yeah, man. I think the beef that they had, I don't know. Tell you the truth, I think not a lot of people, you don't have to like other people. That's a fact. Just because you're same race or doing what you do don't mean you gotta like them. But I do think in general, uh, with such a small community here, that we ain't really got the space to be going after each other like that. We're not big enough for that. I mean, even big YouTubers don't do that. So when I say big YouTubers, I'm talking about, people with millions of followers or coming up on millions of followers. But it is what it is. It happened. Who knows? It might have been positive for both of them. They might have both got some subscribers out of it. It is what it is. It happens, and we move on. Florianopolis, yeah, that's where I'm at in Florianopolis. So, yep, you go to people who do look like you. You watch lives and videos. Yeah, I mean, I watch people who look like me, but I also watch a lot of content from people that don't look like me. But yes, when I go to travel videos, I am interested in, you have some people label it as black man experience or whatever. Sometimes I might click on that. Um, but to tell you the truth, I've been a lot of places already before this YouTube thing was hitting, and I already know what a lot of these places are like towards us, that where you don't see a lot of black people, right? Um, the thing is, things are always changing. Things are always changing from year to year. Things change. Um, if you wanted to see, one of the videos, one of the places I regret not going when it was time to go was the Ukraine. And the funny part is, I know people who went there before YouTubers were talking about it, and I know people went there and said it was a great time. I met Ukrainians in Thailand who told me you should go there. It's a great time. This is before everything that happened. And then I met people years before that. Black man who went there and told me like, yo, they racist as hell there. And this was before any of this stuff. This was like 2009. He told me that. Went there, came back. He was like, man, they was racist as hell. In the airport, he picked up on it. They was treating him like trash in the airport. Customs. So there, I don't care what nobody say. Like there is some things going on there on both sides. I'm sure there's people that love you there and there's people that hate you over there. That's one of the few places I know that has that thing like that where you'll see it. You can experience it all in the same trip. Fala português. Fala português pouco, no muito mais. My Portuguese is muito. What's funny is I can understand a bit of Portuguese, maybe because of the little bit of Spanish and French that I speak. It's funny. I think the French helps out in a weird way. I don't know how, but I think if you understand French and Spanish, then it's like Portuguese is right there. You can figure it out. Some things, not everything. Maybe only like 20%, but fala Portuguese. Okay, yeah, I ain't even going to attempt to massacre the language here on YouTube like that. Okay, posting once a week, walking one. Yeah, I got to check out your stuff, man. I got to take a look at it again. This live is perfect for all the info you guys talked about. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna chop it up later and do that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna check them out. Some of those places I know about. A few of them I haven't heard of. Okay. Yeah, Daniel dropping some gems on us, man. He trying to have me stay in Brazil, bro. All these places. Yeah, Moni, you just finding out about the ace and check thing. I would say don't even worry about it. Okay, you said Ukraine is dope. I mean, I won't doubt that it is. I'm just saying I know somebody that had adverse experience, and he's the type of brother that he's not new to. He wasn't new to Europe. You know, he was living in Germany when I was there, and so he knows how to carry himself. But he said, you know, he's a bigger brother too. You know, like tall in shape brother. Um, they were just hating on him at the airport. Now the thing too is, it could be how he took it. They could have been hating on him. You know how some people hate on you and do whatever you like, man. A lot of times, what it takes is just knowing, yeah, this person hating on me because I'm black, whatever. But more than the most thing is they're hating on you because they're jealous. More so than you actually just being black. It's that they're jealous. So not all the time, but a lot of times it's that. And it's most of the time it's singular. It's just that person. But it's hard, man, when if you experience something like that, to not let it invade your whole psyche about every person you see that look like that person. Because you can encounter somebody that's giving you some, you know, a tough time like that, and then turn this way, and this person's revering you. They loving you. They think you the next Michael Jordan or something. You know what I mean? They but you wouldn't know because you all tight now, you know? But a lot of times I found that to be more often the case. Somebody is giving you some shit, they're jealous, And a lot of times, the reason why they're jealous because everybody else is already showing they love for you. You just ain't picking up on it. So most of the time, when I've seen those situations, that's what's going on. But of course, there's other situations too, where maybe you're surrounded by a bunch of haters. Yeah, I mean that's the only time I've heard it from him. And I kind of when he said that too, I was kind of like, man, go ahead, man. He's like, nah, for real. He's like, look, bro, I don't be tripping on all this. He's like, but they really did shit on me when I was there. So Caesar, he was looking for a woman in Ukraine, 90-day fiance. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I think we got done with all the questions. I think Daniel dropped a lot of gems in here. I might have to go look up those spots for sure. Um, I have to go back through this live and save that and go through and clean it up. I think I'm gonna have to when I edit this live too, I'm gonna have to let's go through. Let's see what Daniel dropped. Let's put that. Let's see what he dropped in. Let's see the places. So he talked about. I'm gonna try to get it so we just hit his comments. Okay. So he says he's from Brazil, Porto Alegre, Rio do Sul, but talking about other places to check out. Gramado. Gramado. All right, that was one. What else? He did the Google and Forest. This place right here, I can't pronounce it, but I think I've been there before. And he mentioned this one already. Ilha de Grande, the Big Island. Florianopolis, that's where we at. Bonito. Okay, haven't heard of that one. What else? What else? What other ones did he drop in here? Okay. Okay, yeah, this place right here. Magorori. And okay. So we got some spots. And the reason why I went over those comments again, yeah, is just so we can I can go ahead and drop, I can cut that part of the video and maybe make it into a short, do whatever. And you got the info, you got some info from a Brazilian right there on other places to go check out in Brazil. But I want to say, let me see. Oh, the TV show 90 Day Fiance. Okay. Yeah, I never seen that show. I haven't checked it out. But yeah, I want to say thank you everybody for coming in. The live has been 2 hours, 43 minutes. It's pretty good length. Yeah, and this will be available for replay. I might bring it down just to cut it up, maybe make it more efficient, do some things. But I appreciate all y'all for coming through. Stay tuned either tomorrow or the day after. Probably be coming out with the video. Still here in Florianopolis, showing a lot of like a little bit of the activities they got going on at the Selena Hostel here in Florianopolis, and also that section of the island. I might add in some more pieces to it as well, but it'll be about a 9 to 11-minute video. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Thank all y'all for coming through. And yeah, appreciate y'all. Okay. Yeah. Dre, man, you can catch it on the replay, man. We gonna leave it up. So check it out. All right, y'all. I'm out.